Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Act, helping states create colleges focused on agriculture, mechanics, science, and practical education. The principle was not centralized control, it was opportunity. Lincoln's Morrill Act reminds us that America can support education without surrendering education to Washington. Why did it matter? Because a free nation needs citizens equipped to work, build, steward, and govern themselves. Scripture gives work a sacred weight. In Genesis, God placed man in the garden to work it and to keep it. Proverbs honors the one who works his land. Paul warns against idleness and calls believers to earn their bread. Why does that still matter today? Because education should form capable people under God, not dependent subjects under bureaucracy.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Dignity, the collective, a group of people, a political philosophy has no dignity. Only individuals can have dignity. So how do you get people to demand dignity for the collective? You must take away their individual dignity. That's what ghetto developers called Democrats are perfect at. We'll discuss this and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, President Trump spoke with reporters this morning just before departing for the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base, calling American service members killed by Iranian forces heroes.
A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. That just came out loud and clear in a poll. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon?
The president now threatening to order attacks against civilian infrastructure in Iran. U.S. Representative Andy Biggs has won the GOP nomination for Arizona governor. Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are back in a New York City courtroom over their alleged participation in drug trafficking. And the Illinois State Board of Elections has ruled that neither Chicago Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez nor Myra Macias collected enough valid signatures from voters to qualify for the ballot as independent candidates in the 4th Congressional District to replace Chuy Garcia. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins. Bring your gold or silver in store today. Each item priced right in front of you. The coins never leave your sight. Receive cash or a check right on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with the major averages ending lower after the Dow lost steam in the final hour of trading after being solidly higher for the better part of the trading day. Investors are getting in gear for the first major tech earnings reports to gauge the sustainability of the AI-driven market rally. Alphabet, IBM, Tesla, and Texas Instruments will be releasing results after the closing bell. Investors will be looking for proof that AI spending is paying off. The Magnificent 7 big cap tech stocks were mostly lower, led by Microsoft and Meta. And oil prices climbed to 6-week highs, with West Texas Intermediate crude nearing $87 a barrel. The Dow winners, Goldman Sachs, Nvidia, and Johnson & Johnson. The Dow decliners, Microsoft, IBM, and Salesforce. The Dow down 6 points. The Nasdaq lower by 146. S&P 500 down 10. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky. Invested in you.
Gas prices in Chicago are riding like a roller coaster. They go up, they come down. Well, they come down a little bit, but then they go back up again. AM 560 wants to help ease your pain at the pump. Listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 for the lowest gas prices around Chicagoland. And if you see a low gas price, let us know. Just text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location, and we'll share it right here on AM 560. The Answer.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-465-1959 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-465-1959. That's 800-465-1959. What do you have to lose? Call 800-465-1959. Again, 800-465-1959.
Now that summer is here, it's time for some summer home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with Center Guard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. Center Guard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive summer special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's another check of your afternoon trip on the Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 45 minutes. It is wide open on the outbound Edens. The Eisenhower, give yourself hour and 20 post office to 390, and the Stevenson out 55 out to the Veterans Memorial with an accident reported at Central, another one at the Tri-State. Southbound 55, a crash right near 355 off to the shoulder. Outbound Dan Ryan, 30 minutes, crash at 79th on the side, tighten the express from Pershing to Marquette. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State either way. Jane Addams clear, but eastbound Reagan, southbound 355 are snug. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mainly clear skies with a low of 59. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring mostly sunny conditions with a high of 80. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. As we head into Friday, anticipate nice weather with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
Dignity, dignity, dignity.
And when the band plays hail to the
How do you sell self-loathingness to individuals and then pretend to give them dignity? You see, if you support these policies of the collective, these policies of the massive amounts of failure in our society, all perpetrated by one and one party only. How do you do it? First, you have to strip away the dignity of the individual, and then you have to pretend to give it back.
When we say tax the rich, we mean moving from a system where the lowest income earners are paying a higher tax rate than some of the highest income earners. And Republicans have been pushing for a flat tax. We're asking folks to pay their fair share. And for us, that is on the millionth earned income. It would be an additional tax bracket. Our tax brackets right now are incredibly wide. So your
tax brackets right now are incredibly abusive extortionist. And your tax system taxes tax money, taxes spending, but moreover raises the cost of things, which is what it is meant to do, you communist bimbo pig. You're selling this stuff when we had the youngest country with the highest quality of life. Take a look at the quality of life prior to this system of abuse and extortion. Take a look at history anywhere you'd like.
Who may be making, I think it's like $465,000 that they're paying the same tax rate as somebody who's in the 750s. That's a pretty different, significant different income. And then adding a 1% increase on the billion income tax class.
But it's beautiful. The full court press on taxation negates the hundreds of billions that have been stolen in their entitlement schemes. It negates the hundred of billions that have been stolen in their foreign policy schemes. Like, let's say the foreign policy to Ukraine, $200 billion is $200,000 million. Where's the fracking money, whores? And you're worried about taxing people, Americans? You're unmoored from this redistribution idea. And this is the part to focus on. They're not taking Peter's income and his tax and they're distributing it to Paul. Oh, no. It's far more pervasive. They create policies intended to be stolen from. They create the policies, the money is stolen, and the kickback system lives forever. That's how it really works.
I used to deal with Ukrainian corruption quite closely across different spheres. I even published a book on Ukrainian corruption after Maidan. I can tell you that in actual fact, I believe that nobody knows the actual scale of Ukrainian corruption. We can only say that I, as someone who has lived in Ukraine and who has insights, I can say that corruption has been transformed. It used to be a crime, a criminal act, but now it is the foundation, the basis, the pillar of the Ukrainian regime.
What do you know? You're just the former officer of the Ukrainian Special Prosecution. That's all you are. You were part of the team that Joe Biden made go away. You spent your entire life, Vasily Prozorov, fighting corruption in the former Soviet Union. You don't know anything about it. We'll hear from Hunter Biden, from Joe Biden, from Victoria. My thighs are killing me, Newland, you fat slob, and every other Obama official who set us on the trajectory from Obama's years to now to $300 billion. I say this to you because when you hear about Iran, you hear about the money of Pete Hegseth, you hear about the death of the soldiers, which is terrible, infinitesimal to the 233 Chicagoans murdered this year, 1,035 shot, where it's far more dangerous to live in Chicago as a United States citizen as it is to be in the military facing a war with Iran. Far more dangerous in just one bankrupt ghetto created by Democrats, like the money that is being stolen by the millisecond in Ukraine.
Of Ukrainian governance, and there are no moral restrictions, and there are no smart...
Squirrel, do you happen to know the Ukrainian tax system? Do they have a heavy progressive tax? How is it that Ukraine doesn't have a more aggressive tax system than America? How is that, Squirrel? And the reason is their economy, like Somalia, like Chicago, like New York, New Jersey, and California, exists on stealing our money. The Americans that go to work every fracking day. The ones that make the world go round. That small infinitesimal percentage of people who understand the economy and participate in it. And here's the good news, Squirrel. We, the decent, more than unanimously support Donald Trump.
Trump is still very popular with Republicans. Just take a look here. Okay, 21st century own party approval rating, about at this point in the second term. We got Trump, we got Obama, we got Bush. Look, they're all fairly popular, but the one who is the most popular, and we have seen this time in and time out, no matter when you look, is Donald John Trump. He's the only one who's over 80%. 83% of Republicans still approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing as president. He still has that magic touch.
The magic touch comes from who he always was. What made him popular in the first place? See, he was never cultivated in Caligula for nerds. where Mitch McConnell can get laid. He was never populated in Caligula, where Nancy Pelosi can get stooped by a Capitol policeman while her husband's driving around with his boyfriend in an ascot smashing into cars. He dealt in the real world. 1987, Squirrel Donald Trump.
I'm not here today because I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem.
That's Barbara Wawa. Oh, she was quite the tramp herself. However, Squirrel, this is 1987, which meant when he said, I'm not running for president, can you imagine if we could have had 8 years of Reagan as he was dragging around that corrupt, scumbag, lying CIA fraud Bush Sr., and then 8 years of Trump? It would have been impossible for the rise of the repulsives we face today, known as the American Democrat Socialist. You know what they are. The Fourth Reich.
Culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
Like, comment, share.
Here's the other thing you got to remember. He was still pissed off, as the decent were, since the attack in 82, the attack in 81, the attack in 86, the more than 3,000 attacks that have been perpetrated by the Islamo-Nazis since Jimmy Carter and the American rat Democrats allowed Iran, formerly Persia before Hitler, to be taken over by a theocracy not bent on success of its people. Just ask them. They've all got dignity walking around in those sheets. It's built on promoting the cult of hate. It's not a religion. It's a cult. Kind of like what the American Democrats are. I mean, after all, if you can look at their areas, all ghettos, all hopeless, all food deserts and business deserts, all where it's better to be a politician than it is a citizen like the Soviet Union. You would then understand, would you get the phone, Squirrel? You would then understand exactly what we're facing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you to our witnesses here today. I want to begin by first echoing my colleagues' comments that we've heard throughout the hearing here, and join them in mourning the loss of American service members who were killed in action these last few days. My thoughts are with their families, with a service member who remains missing, and with all those injured during the strikes. And I will continue to pray for their families. Secretary Hegseth, over the course of the war with Iran, I have repeatedly expressed concerns regarding the administration's lack of a winning strategy and repeated contradictions about the state of the war. Frankly, it doesn't help that you and your president continues to mislead the American people. You and the president have repeatedly said that the war, as we've heard over and over again, is almost over. Or
boy, isn't that what they said to us? As we started to send the billions and billions, now $290 billion to Ukraine. Every one of these morons suck on Democrats. Every one of them could care less about the money that's being stolen in Ukraine. By the week, another member caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Every fracking week. Not to mention Zelensky has a $10 million painting in his office.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has dismissed the Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief after nationwide protests. And we can get more now with our Chief Europe correspondent, Oliver Crook. Ollie, just for our international audience, give us the significance of this change of personnel. Does it show Zelensky's weakness on some level, that he's bowing to pressure from protesters?
Perhaps to a degree, Lizzie. It certainly makes his life a little bit more difficult at the center.
What do you mean difficult? It's $295 billion in the wind. It's not difficult. He's got a $10 million painting behind his head in his office. No difficult. The difficult is giving the veneer and the distraction to keep the American people's focus off of it. That's where the American Democrats come in.
Already won. In fact, the president alone has said the war is almost over more than 30 times. On March 1st, the president said, we'll be done in 4 or 5 weeks. On March 9th, he said the war was very complete. On April 8th, he declared total and complete victory.
See what they are trying to distract from. Donald Trump isn't fighting a war with a country. Donald Trump is fighting a war with a cult, as we've been fighting it since 1979 in one form or another.
Being a Muslim democratic socialist, I thought it would be pretty straightforward.
You just saw like, well, what if I label myself something that scares people the most? I'm a Muslim democratic socialist.
First of all, let me explain something to you, John Stewart. That's John Stewart, whose big accomplishment in life is he's a clown. And Mandamni, global intifada, lived with his mother last year. Nobody's scared. Scared. Maybe repulsed. But you're communists, these Islamo-Nazis, you don't stand a chance. And I'll still have enough energy to pleasure your women.
You scare them. You scare them twice.
And I'd like to run your public transportation system.
Yeah. It's the perfect cover, Squirrel. It's the perfect cover. And what you do when you're in that position, you backdoor nationalize our property rights that we're founded on. That's what you deliver over and over again.
Well, Democratic Socialists taking aim at New York City landlords and their profits. Martha McCallum pressed the co-chair of the DSA's New York chapter about the attacks. Here it is.
Landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make?
And what is the onus on the degenerate communist? What does he have to do? What does it take to be a member of this good-for-nothing, useless political party? What exactly is your participation in life? What is your obligation to your fellow commie? I mean, maybe if we really start picking this apart, we'll understand it's a distraction to simply steal our money, like the former Soviet Union or any one of the entities involved with the American Democrat Party or any one of the states where the hundreds of billions of dollars have gone missing, all in the same entitlements they pretend are going to deliver utopia. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book. Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560. The Answer.
You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me. But you turned me up, you dropped the bomb on me.
I have long said the United States has the strongest military in history in the world, and I have no doubt that our brave service members can execute any mission and prevail in any battle. But without a clear winning strategy, we're at risk of being in another forever war that'll put our service members in continued harm's way and continue to cost taxpayers billions of dollars.
Is it a fraction of the money that was wasted? Really, not to fight a war, but to make American Democrats rich.
Moves even observed. We can speak about some sophisticated embezzlement schemes, but there are cases when people just blatantly steal money. I conducted an investigation and we shoot a documentary on how these were not high-ranking people. These were officers, brigade chiefs. They were stealing U.S.-made weapons, and they were sending that equipment to Hamas and Hezbollah to the Middle East. And I went to Syria on a business trip, and we found Javelin, Stingers, and British-made weapons that had been supplied to Ukraine but ended up in the hands of Hezbollah. There were instructions, user manuals in the Ukrainian language. It testifies to the fact that there are no restrictions, and I'm sure that the Western community was aware of it, and top executives under Joe Biden were fully aware of it, but they were turning a blind eye. Why? Because many American high-ranking individuals were involved in those corrupt schemes.
Yeah. In fact, just let me interject. I know in this current investigation, there is a prominent Republican senator who has received, I was told, over $16 million, and a prominent Democrat senator who had received $23 million. So yeah, we like to pretend that Ukrainians are somehow more corrupt than anybody else. It's a universal.
Larry, $20 million
is peanuts.
Yeah.
$20 million is peanuts. And now the crack-smoking degenerate Hunter Biden, in the midst of an energy crisis, nobody's asking him. You sat on the board of an energy company. What do you think would be the best way to really bring American energy production into the new century? Hunter, you crack-smoking. Make sure you put your teeth in first, scumbag. Tom, Blue Island.
Hey, Shaun, dittos. Shaun, great point you made in reference to what that idiot Stewart said. We're not afraid of these socialists, these knuckleheads. They're college kids that never had a job. Maybe Americans were afraid of the Germans back in World War II, and you and I both grew up in the 80s, and I'm sure there were plenty of Americans that were afraid of nuclear war with Russia. But we're not afraid of these people. It's just that we don't take them seriously because they're such knuckleheads.
You know, Tom, a friend of mine died last night, and I got a text when I left. And I went home, and I was looking at pictures. And you know, when we actually grew up, the bulk of your grade school was in the 70s. 80s were high school. And it's fascinating how the same arguments were there. They've always existed. The difference is in the 70s and the 80s, this country had too much character. The communists existed as they always have. They were laughed at. Gus Hall ran 8 times. He was laughed at. Now, he's a founding father of the Fourth Reich.
The communist vote is a vote for life. A vote for the communist ticket, it is a vote to end racism, to all forms of discrimination. It is a vote for jobs,
1976.
a vote for decent income,
Right here.
a home for everyone, for full equality of women, especially on the job. It is a vote for free child care centers and for working mothers a 6 months maternity leave with full pay. It is a vote for free quality medical care, hospital care for all who need it. It is a vote for free college education for all regardless of income. We have the materials, we have the manpower to build a decent home for every family. We can build enough schools and hospitals. If we can have modern mass transit systems. We can eliminate poverty and want. We can do all this. We can provide these services only if we eliminate corporate profits as the kingpin on the list of priorities.
And he was laughed off the stage in 1976 because Americans didn't hate themselves. Not at all. They had self-dignity, something no communist country can ever have. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's joint arthritis treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate, it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
So this is earnings week. Everybody knows there are some major bits of information coming out about some of the biggest companies in America. But look at how we are just 1% from all-time highs, within 1%. I don't care if you're talking about the Dow, if you're talking about the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Russell. No matter what it is, the beauty of Americanism, we're the youngest and the richest with the highest quality of life for the people who participate. The scumbags, they still get taken care of, especially in these Democrat communist areas, which is why they're looking to steal your money. So you better make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed. You do not take a chance of dying intestate or without consultation of how to hold your assets. You grow your assets. You're a capitalist, which is why if you can't get to Ro Khanna, that inside trading whore who has never lost money on a trade, 17 trades a day, over 2,000 trading days, he has insider traded $170 million. Now, if you're on that inside loop, all right, congratulations, you're a scumbag. But if you want to make money honestly, Alpha Wealth Group. It's that simple. Tom Fortino, for over 3 decades, has understood you have to avoid the potholes and you have to secure the assets so that we leave our money to our kids and grandkids and not the Democrat mafia. If that's important to you, growing your wealth honestly, growing your wealth by taking advantage of the opportunity only America gives you. You can't buy into the Palestinian stock market because it doesn't exist, or the Iranian index doesn't exist. But here, you can have a piece of the American biggest companies, little piece at a time, every week. The next thing you know, you, like most Americans who apply themselves, have something to leave your kids and grandkids. Get the best advice out there. Alpha Wealth Group. Find it online at alphawealthgroup.com or call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. Tom will know what you want right when you call. And all you have to do is say, Tom, I heard about you on Shaun. I want that no-obligation consultation. I want you to help me make my grandkids smile and tell stories to their grandkids about how their grandfather was smart enough to call Alpha Wealth Group. When we get back, 312-642-5600. George, you'll lead us off after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Sunny skies with a high near 75. A 15-year-old boy was shot and killed early this morning on the west side of Chicago in the 4600 block of West Jackson. Also this morning, 2 Illinois State Police troopers were injured in a serious rollover crash in Cicero. Police investigating say the crash involved an ISP vehicle and 2 others just after midnight. The U.S. and Iran have exchanged fire across the Middle East again. Secretary of State Marco Rubio at an Asian summit says the U.S. is committed to diplomacy, but Iran is not.
The problem we're having right now is that they're not serious about talks. If they're serious, we're serious. If they're not, then we will do what is necessary to protect that, our interest and also the interest of our allies.
1 man is dead after a motorcycle crash on Chicago's southwest side. The man was riding yesterday in the 5300 block of Southwestern Avenue when he fell off. Cubs and Tigers from Wrigley, the news service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges at 560theanswer.com/join. Your next news update is at 5. News, traffic, and weather updates at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the afternoon commute in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchak.
On the Eden Spur, eastbound tight spur to Winnetka, inbound trip 40 minutes. The Kennedy going out to O'Hare from downtown, 48 minutes. Tie-ups in the Express, Ogden to Costner. On the Eisenhower, 1 hour and 5. Post office out to 390. Northbound I-55, a crash at Lorenzo on the right shoulder. Stevenson out is an hour due Saba Lakeshore Drive, out to 355. On the Dan Ryan, it's a half hour downtown to 95th. There are some tight pockets in the Express, Pershing to Marquette. Skyway is clear. Due Saba Lakeshore Drive, you'll see delays either way on that. Same with the Tri-State. Jane Addams eastbound, a crash just cleared at 173. So that is moving along actually either way. Eastbound Reagan Snug and southbound 355. Northbound Route 53 north of Algonquin Road, there's an accident through the construction area. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mainly clear skies with a low of 59. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring mostly sunny conditions with a high of 80. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. Looking ahead to Friday, anticipate nice weather with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1862, Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Act, helping states create colleges focused on agriculture, mechanics, science, and practical education. The principle was not centralized control, it was opportunity. Lincoln's Morrill Act reminds us that America can support education without surrendering education to Washington. Why did it matter? Because a free nation needs citizens equipped to work, build, steward, and govern themselves. Scripture gives work a sacred weight. In Genesis, God placed man in the garden to work it and to keep it. Proverbs honors the one who works his land. Paul warns against idleness and calls believers to earn their bread. Why does that still matter today? Because education should form capable people under God, not dependent subjects under bureaucracy.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sports memorabilia, movie posters, rock and roll. Get top dollar for your collection. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560.
The Answer.
I used to deal with Ukrainian corruption quite closely across.
In all his years of dealing with Ukrainian corruption, in all of his years of living through the Soviet Union, was there any politician, not even Stalin himself, would have the audacity, or as it's called in my neighborhood, the balls, to go onto a Zoom call with a $10 million stolen piece of art in his office, but the comedian, he did.
On March 22nd, 3 paintings by French masters Cézanne, Renoir, and Matisse, worth more than $10 million, were stolen from a museum near the Italian city of Parma. The theft has since been investigated by Italy's Carabinieri and the Cultural Heritage Protection Unit. Surprisingly, less than a month after the heist, one of the stolen paintings, A Cup and Plate of Cherries by Paul Cézanne, appeared in one of President Zelensky's videos.
Шановні українці, українки, коротко про цей день. ППО буде новий підхід до застосування.
Presumably recorded on April 16th, the video shows Zelensky addressing Ukrainians, with a stolen painting appearing on a wall directly behind his back. The video was published on the official website of the President of Ukraine, but has since been removed. This is a rare case of a stolen painting reappearing in public. Chris Marinello, founder...
Where's the FBI? Where's all the Democrats and some of the Republicans who supported that money for nothing to the most corrupt country outside of Chicago? Where are you, morons? You'll get to Minnesota later. That's the tell. They could care less about the money that is stolen. Why don't you care about the billions and billions? Is it because you're communist? Are you selling the communist stuff? Well, good news for you. You're everywhere, and some of you are wearing miniskirts.
My name is Dina Nina, and I'm running for the state assembly to be Republicans' worst nightmare. A transgender woman.
You already are ours. Her name is Dina Nina. His name! It's a man, another Meatloaf impersonator. No makeup on. She's pulling off the Chelsea Clinton look. And she's about a size 18 squirrel. I don't know my size is the way I used to, but she's definitely looking for Lane Bryant.
My name is Dina Nina, and I'm running for the state assembly to be Republicans' worst nightmare. A transgender woman who lives in poverty, wants to legalize weed, and thinks everybody deserves affordable housing and health care. Yikes. I'm the exact opposite of what you typically get in that building. I'm running on a platform.
You're the exact opposite of everything I've ever dealt with my entire life. You're a freak! George, Naperville.
Yes, Shaun, we're all waiting. But if Trump can finally get Iran to denuclearize, what do you think of that country becoming a sister country to the People's Republic of Oak Park? They will have a shared interest.
Hey, wait till those Oak Parkers figure out what communism or the Islamo-Nazi party really does when they take away their trust fund. How you like it now? You don't think you guys get away with it, do you? You don't think that you get to live in the big mansion in Oak Park or River Forest. When they come for you, they come the way Mao came, and you get thrown in a hole. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shaun. You know, I'm seeing these young people. It's almost like the No Kings protest, young people protesting in India for corruption and Italy for police misconduct. But when it comes to voting, is it going to change like before? They're going to actually come and vote? Or is this just a feel-good thing for protesting? That's like the young people like to do here.
Listen, when you have when you have thieves though, or Democrats, gypsies, or swindlers, or hustlers monitoring your elections, you're never going to have an election. These aren't elections anymore. These are selections. By the way, you saw the thing in New Jersey, right? Where they finally had to admit there's 6,000. Oh, only 400 was the software. Well, you know, the new number is 385,000 illegal aliens in just New Jersey. In just New Jersey. So think about what we're really talking about, Eduardo. If a Democrat's in charge, it isn't legitimate. If a Democrat's your doctor, the health care sucks. If your Democrat's your lawyer, your advisor for lawsuits and contracts suck. They suck. Now, if you want to be a scumbag, then you better get yourself a Democrat lawyer. They'll have you all set up. Next thing you know, you're on a boat named Butt Naked. Whatever happened to Butt Naked? Who cares? The Democrats don't.
Thousands of non-citizens were erroneously allowed to register to vote.
News 4's Sarah Wallace explains how it happened.
The governor blasted the previous administration, saying she just learned about all of this. She did add that they believe only about.
Well, then wait a minute. So you're a victim, right? You're shocked, but you won under these circumstances. So you're illegitimate then. So you're illegitimate, right? Isn't that how it works? Not everybody's dumb enough to have entrusted their education or their thought process to Democrats.
400 newly registered people actually voted in an election, but the Trump administration is still likely to pounce.
In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway.
Oh, damn you, software. Hey, what'd you pay for that? Does anybody in that company that you hired, the software company, does it work like Cook County? They give you a kickback? Did they give you a kickback, whore? And you're illegitimate, as everyone who's involved in the last election who pretends to have won, you lied. Because it's not 6,000 and it's not 400. It's hundreds of thousands, whore.
A serious software error within New Jersey's Department of Motor Vehicles
I love how it's reported.
led to more than 6,000 non-U.S. citizens being registered to vote. That's according to Governor Mikey Sherrill on Tuesday. She says the system error happened between June 2023 and June of 2024.
I'd like you to add from now on, whenever we talk about this dingbat in New Jersey, illegitimate whore in between her first name and last name. The same way we lived through 4 years of when he stole the election. Now, let's ask a woman who lied for 40 years, who is as white as Ed Burke's ass, looks a lot like Chuck Connors. You remember Chuck Connors from The Rifleman? Doesn't look like an Indian, even though Chuck Connors, I believe, played Geronimo. That's only because the producers had a sense of humor and made him prance around the office with a feather duster in his rear end. Let's ask the lying whore for 40 years, Pocahontas.
Hi, just a quick question for you. I know you're vehemently opposed to the Save America Act, but does the recent revelation in New Jersey with the aliens who are actually registered to vote change your opinion on getting that legislation passed?
Look, it is already illegal for someone who's not an American citizen to vote, period.
But that's at least 400 aliens that did vote.
There are already laws to prevent that.
Well,
and if people have violated the law, then they should be prosecuted. Easy.
You mean like the Minnesota Somalian scum that stole our money were prosecuted, and then the Democrat judge overturned it? 3 different Pocahontases, all a little umborco with the fupa, hiding illegal aliens under the robe. Now that's earning your way. You're better off crossing the Rio Grande. This is what it looks like when you have a smarmy fraud lawyer who's a representative. Well, we have laws. Now we'll selectively prosecute who we want. And if there's a big enough kickback envelope, well, then there will be no prosecution. Right, Injun?
Anything's actually going to happen. I thought Democrats always said that there's no evidence of.
I don't understand why you want laws that are already there. That makes no sense.
But I thought Democrats said illegals never.
You know what makes no sense is that whatever district this whore is from, it makes no sense that you have any support whatsoever, except what it does do, reveal just how corrupt the constituents are wherever Democrats are the representation. Wherever Democrats are elected or there's no rebuttal against the voter fraud, that's an indication of where never to open a business. And if you do, plan on closing it.
Save-A-Lot grocery stores across Chicago could close this summer. All 7 locations could be shut down after the company decided to end its partnership with the grocery operator Yellow Banana.
NBC5's Rose.
You know why, Squirrel? They existed on fraud, on food stamp fraud. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. When people call us, they're often dealing with something overwhelming. An inherited home full of belongings, parent needing senior living, managing an estate while juggling everything else in life. Here's what our sellers have to say after working with us. The very thought of hiring an agent, a cleanup crew, and dealing with months of uncertainty was overwhelming. But Jeff's team gave me permission to just leave it all. I took what mattered and they handled everything else. Another seller wrote, even my Medicaid specialist said Jeff Buys Your House is the name to trust. They gave me a fair price without the traditional real estate headache. And this one, they handled every hiccup. Title issues, paperwork, estate complications. I finally felt relieved. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led team has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews for its professionalism, compassion, and seamless service. No repairs and no cleanout. Take your memories with you and we'll take care of the rest. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
I'm Gary Carr, retired homicide detective and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. For 10 years, we've helped more than 20,000 students become safe, responsible, and confident firearm owners. If you're looking to get your Illinois Concealed Carry license or need to renew, now's the perfect time. Our law enforcement-led training gives you the knowledge and skills to protect yourself and your family. Our 16-hour concealed carry class includes live fire training, one-on-one coaching, Illinois and Florida certification for expanded reciprocity, range qualification, and a full-color textbook. We provide the firearm, ammunition, eye and ear protection, targets, and range access. Need a renewal? Our 3-hour renewal class keeps you legal and current on Illinois firearm laws. Thousands of students have trusted us for professional instruction, flexible scheduling, and exceptional value. Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian for classes, less lethal options, and self-defense legal plans. Visit us at concealedcarrychicago.com to reserve your seat today. That's concealedcarrychicago.com, concealedcarrychicago.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Patrick, CEO of Total Wall and a client of Signature Bank. We produce high-performance materials used in exterior insulating finish systems and other stucco applications. During a recent business transaction, I learned quickly that having the right banking partner matters. Signature Bank stepped in, took time to understand my business needs, and kept things moving. If you need a banking partner you can rely on, look for a team with real experience and a commitment to your success. For me, that's Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Zohran Mamdani's anti-Semitism is showing again. He's threatened to enforce the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if Netanyahu comes to New York for the United Nations General Assembly. The threat is absurd. President Trump has made clear that no one is going to arrest Netanyahu. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio has rightly described the ICC as a politicized institution engaged in lawfare against Americans and hostile to our national sovereignty. The notion that an international tribunal could use a disputed warrant to arrest the leader of one of America's closest allies on American soil is preposterous. So's the idea that New York's mayor should be conducting U.S. foreign policy. What Mamdani is really doing is trying to normalize anti-Semitism in American public life. That's dangerous, and it's wrong. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know, Squirrel, illegal aliens, people on temporary protected status can get small business loans or at least they could. How many billions were given to aliens that falsified their information? How do you quantify that? Who do you talk to? Who do you see about figuring out who the person is who wouldn't give you his name?
I've got a pretty big curveball for immigrant entrepreneurs across the country, but especially here in California, where we have the largest immigrant population, but also the most small businesses. The Small Business Administration, the federal government agency that gives loans to small businesses, is about to stop doing that completely for people who are not U.S. citizens. That includes people who have a green card. So, for example, if you have a green card and you own as little as 1% of your business, the entire company no longer qualifies.
Good. Let's get the default rate on aliens when it comes to SBA, which has the highest default rate of any lender. Corey in Woodlawn.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Shaun. You know, I was reading an article from USA Today about the Social Security master death file. They put millions of people on Social Security under the Biden administration. Elon Musk's Doge added them to the death file because they were undocumented. And then through some whistleblower that works for the Social Security Administration, he files a claim, and now all of that stuff is just taken away. I mean, I think the biggest problem is we have too many people in D.C. subverting the will of the people.
Because they're sequestered in D.C. You realize, this whole thing with Nancy Pelosi was fantastic, right? She's living in Washington, D.C. Her husband, who is batting from the other side of the plate, is traveling around wine country with his boyfriend in an Ascot in an Aston Martin, banging into cars for years. For years. And she's in Washington. It's the same thing with all of them. They all have apartments and boats and lives. They don't go home. This is Caligula. They're all banging. Look at Robert or Tom Massey. Tom Massey, the wife dies. He marries the girl that worked for him. And at the same time, the other girl that worked for him is accusing him of forcing her to sleep with him for money. I mean, you can't make this up. He's a libertarian. Yeah. There are no good guys. There's bad people pretending to be representatives. The whole fracking thing is set up for them to be sequestered from the reality of their policies. And why not create the policies that are crafted to be stolen from? That's how you get your campaign coffers filled. It works. That system we're victimized of is working on all cylinders. What they don't like, Corey, is somebody who wasn't cultivating it to be the president or to be in a position to talk about it. They don't like that. They like to have the power they have in these Illinois areas where the Republicans that are allowed to run are just as crooked as the Democrats. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Corey. See what I did there, Squirrel? You didn't think I could tie that, did you? I did, which explains why Illinois has a huge problem.
Illinois homeowners are feeling the pinch. Some new data shows that Illinois does have the highest property tax rate in the country. This map shows Illinois.
Now that's all you need. Now, vote Democrat if you want to live in a ghetto, if you want to live in a world of feudalism, if you want to be taxed not on the value of your asset, but on the liability of corruption. Congratulations, you're a Democrat. Vote that way. I dare you. Glenn in Orlando.
Yeah, vote Democrat if you want to commit suicide, too.
Well, that's what it is. Every policy is self-loathing. Socialism is self-loathing. You surrender yourself, and you become a part of the collective. Get the hell out of here. I wouldn't let these scumbags park my car. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shaun, what did you say? 6,000 illegal votes, or in New Jersey?
said there was 6,600 illegal aliens registered, 440 votes. But the DHS revealed today that there are 384,000, I believe, if I'm remembering the number correctly. That's how many are on the list. How many illegal aliens are registered to vote? Why else do you think, Glenn? Why would 19 states sue the federal government rather than turn over the rolls? All you have to do is look at it. This is how you found out. You think New Jersey beefed on itself? Get the frack out of here. They make Cicero look legitimate. You think they beefed on themselves? Absolutely not. This is somebody saw something they shouldn't from the federal government. That's the only reason you're hearing about this. And here's the new governor who was elected illegitimately to blame the software. What did she say? Was the software? Let me hear it again.
Thousands of non-citizens were erroneously allowed to register to vote.
News 4's Sarah Wallace explains how it happened.
The governor blasted the previous administration, saying she just learned about all of this. She did add that they believe only about 400 newly registered people actually voted in an election.
You catch the verbiage by shyster lawyers, and I'm cleaning that up. They believe. Oh, you believe? Well, you're the ones that believe that Obamacare was going to cut our rates by $2,500 a year. Oh, you believe? You're the ones who believe Social Security was going to work. You're the ones who believe progressive tax systems wouldn't destroy the quality of life or that businesses would tolerate. I don't give a freck what moron Democrats believe about anything. In fact, if you want to make society better, shut your mouth and live amongst yourselves. Kind of the way they're doing. See, that's why I don't have to worry about a Save-A-Lot. No, you don't have to worry about grocery stores closing in Republican areas, only in the Democrat mafia ones. You don't have to worry about the criminals or illegal aliens getting SBA loans, only in the Democrat mafia ones. You know why? Because they cut the politician in. That's how you know you're in a Democrat area. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. During cold and flu season, a nearby cough or sneeze can trigger a familiar dread, that helpless feeling of being defenseless against an invisible viral threat. But what if you could change the narrative? What if you could fortify your body's natural defenses? This is why I developed Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail designed to give your body the upper hand. Virago is more than a supplement. It's a revolutionary liquid formula packed with 23 powerful natural nutraceuticals for rapid absorption. This unique blend is scientifically crafted to help build resilience and keep you protected. Don't just hope for good health. Make it happen with Virago. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Virago. Order your bottle today online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com. Coupon code IMMUNE.
WIND, Chicago.
If you're a tax-paying, law-abiding lover of America and the American dream, you need to be listening to Saving the American Dream with Jim Martyr. Every Saturday at 7 p.m., Jim tackles the issues that matter most: faith, family, freedom, and the fight to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Saving the American Dream with Jim Martyr, heard Saturday evenings at 7, right here on AM 560 The Answer. Podcasts available at 560theanswer.com.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today. It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Where is Dracula, known as Mitch McConnell? How could it be the Senate has the power to stifle the SAVE Act? What can we do as law as our shield? We're going to ask Michael J. O'Neill, who serves as the Vice President of Legal Affairs at the fantastic organization Landmark Legal Foundation, after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Sunny and 75 this afternoon. President Trump spoke with reporters this morning before departing for the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base. The president calling the American service members killed by Iranian forces heroes and saying the ceremony is one of the hardest things that he has to do as president.
We love you. We love your child, and that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart.
President Trump is now threatening to order attacks against civilian infrastructure in Iran if the IRGC continues to attack cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz. A 15-year-old boy was shot and killed on the west side this morning. Chicago police tell us the shooting took place around 1 a.m. at the 4600 block of West Jackson. And 2 Illinois State Police troopers were injured in a serious rollover crash in Cicero. Police investigating say it happened just after midnight. Cubs and Tigers at Wrigley Field. The White Sox are in Texas. The news a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone when you download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with the major averages ending lower as big tech drags. Markets were cautious ahead of mega cap tech earnings after the bell. Investors want proof that AI spending is paying off. The Magnificent Seven big cap tech stocks were mostly lower, led by Meta and Microsoft. The Dow down 6 points, the Nasdaq lower by 146, S&P 500 down 10. After the bell, Alphabet reported blowout financial results. The Google parent reported second quarter earnings well ahead of Wall Street expectations, and its revenue for the quarter also beat forecasts, and its stock is wavering after hours. IBM delivered earnings after the bell and confirmed the disappointing results that it previewed last week in a rare move. Following last week's warning, IBM shares fell 26%, marking the worst weekly performance in the company's history. IBM shares are higher in extended trading. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-465-1959 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-465-1959. That's 800-465-1959. What do you have to lose? Call 800-465-1959. Again, 800-465-1959.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Nolan Webster. Let's work together to make sure your finances meet your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Call me at 224-801-6107 to schedule an appointment. That's 224-801-6107. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the eastbound spur, that slow spur to Winnetka, it is heavy inbound on the Edens at 50 minutes. Lake Cook Road on into Montrose. Kennedy 50 out to the airport. Slowing in the express Ogden to Costner. Outbound Eisenhower 1 hour and 10 to 390. Stevenson outbound an accident at Damon in the right lane. It's an hour after 355. Outbound trip on the Ryan 30 minutes. Crash at 59th off to the shoulder. Tighten the express Pershing to Marquette. We have delays that continue along DuSable Lakeshore Drive as well as the Tri-State. Jane Addams going east, watch out for a stall just west of Terrell that is blocking the center lane. Southbound 355 is snug as well as eastbound Reagan into the Tri-State. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mainly clear skies with a low of 59. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring mostly sunny conditions with a high of 80. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. As we head into Friday, anticipate nice weather with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
Perspective is what separates successful from the unsuccessful. It's true. There's no question about it. See, the people who are unsuccessful, who live in a world of feudalism, they mainly focus on what they don't have. People who are successful, the Americans, they focus on what they do have. And we have the rule of law. You see, socialism and communism, it's illegal in America. You can't even vote somebody else's rights away if they challenge it properly. That's what we need to start doing. That's why this is a very important guest. Friend of the show, serves as the Vice President of Legal Affairs at an incredible organization, the Landmark Legal Foundation, where it's time to get him busy. Michael J. O'Neill, how are you?
Good. How are you, my friend? Good to be with you, Shaun.
It's infuriating to see what's happening if you just step back. You know, you get caught up in it because of the Department of Agitation and Propaganda known as media. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, you have a confederacy of scallywags calling themselves states, calling themselves counties and cities, and they are ignoring the federal law, and they're pretending to be legitimate. And you know the saddest part of all of this? They're 10% of the country, the same 10% that vote Democrat in every presidential election. That's the only ones that vote it. 10% of the counties. Help me save ourselves by using law.
What you're seeing is willful blindness, right, Shaun? In a lot of these counties, I mean, what just came out in the past day? I mean, you see states and counties with willful blindness, with no concern whether non-citizens are on their voter rolls, whether non-citizens are participating in the electoral process, nullifying your votes, nullifying and distilling the value of your legitimately cast ballot. And it's indisputable at this time. And this is something we know, we've talked about for years at this point. It's years and years. But every so often now you get some of the truth boils up. The states can no longer hide it. New Jersey's saying that 4,000 non-citizens are on their voter rolls. 400, they've identified 400 individuals who are not eligible, who were non-citizens who cast votes in the last election. And so, again, you kind of see these echoes or these little intimations of the extraordinary amounts of just fraud and malevolence and malfeasance that occurs through our electoral process. But there's stuff we can do about it. That's the bad news. The good news is there's things we've identified a problem, and people are working to try to solve that problem. And that it's imperative that some of these solutions get through ASAP.
Yeah, and it's the illusion of ignorance, right? This is the plausible deniability that the scoundrel always is hoping for, right, to invoke that. But the reality is,
see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And you pretend, you just whistle past the graveyard and pretend nothing's happening. And then you can convince yourself that nothing is happening. Absolutely.
And Michael, why I'm excited is this is the first time since the founding of the country there has ever been a man who was not cultivated in this culture of corruption known as politics at the helm. And I know that Donald Trump understands the most important thing is, are we going to continue to fund our own bankruptcy? That's what this is. You know, it's been a staggering. I always ask the audience, how could it be not one elected representative of the Democrat mafia known as the Fourth Reich, not one is upset about the money that's stolen in either Minnesota, California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, or Ukraine? Not one is upset about the money. And the reason is they're the architects of these policies, the architects of this intention. So we need to stop funding it. Stop. You won't give us your voter rolls. We don't give you $1. Simple.
Exactly. I think there's some work on that. I mean, there's now some accountability when it comes to these NGOs. You know, we're talking about money and fraud, and we could talk about voting, but just for a second, there's work being done. You know, it was originally the Doge folks. It's the vice president's head of a task force. You have the Dr. Oz. You have the Kennedy. You have people identifying the rampant fraud in the Medicaid, Social Security programs, Medicare programs. Again, I think I've said this before on your show, Shaun, but it bears repeating. We've talked about this a lot, about the terror, the fiscal cliff we're facing as a country, and the $33 trillion, whatever it's now probably up to now in debt that we're
just
facing.
Under 40, babe.
Just under 40, right? I think a couple of weeks have gone by. We haven't mentioned it. The number rises, everything. I think we could begin to get a hold of it just by canceling the fraud, identifying and removing waste, fraud, and abuse in our government. And I think that's low-hanging fruit. Then you could begin to corral it. In simply doing that, again, the fact that the money that was given out to all of those NGOs at the tail end, the environmental NGOs at the tail end of the Biden administration, that's been frozen. That's being clawed back. So there are billions here, a billion here, billion there. It adds up. I can't believe I'm actually talking like around a billion here, a billion there. But the amount of money that went out in those 4 years is truly staggering. And the amount of corruption and fraud that occurred during those 4 years is absolutely mind-boggling. There are efforts to kind of claw it back and to cease it and to have some sort of accountability. And you are seeing that. But again, there's also what we're talking about right now, the integrity in the voting system. You have people that are committed. The president just went on the television just the other day, just a couple of days ago, and talked about the compromises in our electoral system. Identifying the problem, calling out the bad actors, and beginning to take some action on it is what's necessary to restore confidence in our voting system.
So just a little, I'm a junkie, right? Money junkie, political junkie. $9 trillion was added to the debt in 4 years. That is the largest amount of money in the shortest period of time in world history. Our country, to get a $9 trillion debt, took 236 years. Joe Biden and the Democrats and Republicans did it in 4. That's the perspective to have when we discuss this. Now, I have always maintained and believed and never abandoned that Joe Biden was illegitimate because he had stolen the election. I think the flaw of this lies in the same thing you and I get back to when you laugh at me and I say I want to sue the government. Right. Social Security has never been challenged properly. It is a fraud. Joe Biden and that election has never been challenged properly, whether they slow walked it, the standing, no matter what. Well, now we have the evidence that was sequestered from the people, that was hidden, that was protected. Now it's out. Whether we talk about Fulton County or New Jersey, Arizona is a staggering crime syndicate. And that Katie Hobbs, who was the Secretary of State, is unbelievable. And all the rest of it, right? But the fact of the matter is that even with the cheat, they only ever maintain about a 10 to 11% of the counties in the country. The greatest, the one thing I do every day, really almost every day, I pull up a map of the last 8 presidential elections by county. Michael, we are at the super majority. You just feel like you're not because you're in the belly of the beast.
No, right. And yeah, exactly. And the media would have you believe that it's gaslighting. All it is traditional gaslighting, Shaun. It's you think they continue to call you crazy for your common sense beliefs. Again, it's outside the realms of reasonableness to demand that you put a stamp on a mail ballot. It's outside the bounds of reasonableness to think that you have to show identification when you vote. It's outside the bounds of reasoning to believe that all ballots should be counted by the conclusion of Election Day. In other words, you shouldn't allow the state of Washington to have 3 weeks to count their ballots, or the state of California to accept unmarked mail ballots. It's unreasonable to require citizenship verification or proof of citizenship when you register to vote. The good news here, though, is, again, we're talking about some elections in this context, is the numbers don't lie. 80% of Americans, not Democrats, not Republicans, 80% of Americans believe you should show identification when you vote. 74% of African Americans believe you should show identification when you vote. 70+% of Hispanics believe you should show identification when you need to vote. This is why the piece of legislation that's languishing in the United States Senate and in Congress, and I will give a little bit of credit where credit is due, the House of Representatives is doing everything and anything they can do. They're pulling out all the stops, reconciliation, attaching it to a defense reauthorization.
And who freezes it?
Try to get this through.
Republicans in the Senate. It's the Republicans. This is going back to the other thing, right? But nonetheless, this goes back to our original problem. When I say ours, I'm talking about the side that is supposedly fighting the corruption. We abandoned the first argument. We abandoned it, right? If it's Social Security, to attack it, it's socialism. It's illegitimate, unconstitutional. When it comes to the idea of Joe Biden, he didn't win. Everything he does from the point he was in office now is null and void, because you know as well as I do, once these bills are signed by a president, it's forever spending with 3% kickers every year. If we can,
let me stop you real quick, Shaun. You got it, because I want to land on an interesting point you just made. There is, again, Senator Rand Paul out of Tennessee or Kentucky, I'm sorry, and I disagree on a number of things, but he is calling Fauci up to testify, and they are looking at the pardons. And I've long submitted to you that the pardon process and the execution of the pardons by Joe Biden at the end of his administration were illegitimate. And I think there's a case to be made about that. And I would love to see that sort of case litigated. But that takes place. You need a prosecutor to engage on that. But I think, you see drips and drabs of this, of accountability. But there are some people that are trying to work to find this and to try to remedy some of the wrongs that were committed over the previous 4 years.
But to me, if we must move forward with setting the record straight, because if we do not, then we not only incentivize more fraud in the future, there's no penalty for stealing our money. There has to be a penalty for stealing our money. And when you look back, I think 100 years from now, Michael, kids are going to be like, what the frack were these guys thinking? When you look at how he was charged after statutes were waived, whether it's E. Jean Carroll or the paper from Trump where they said he cheated somebody and there was no plaintiff, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. I mean, it's insane what we've lived through.
And that was the bank. Yeah, the bank. Absurd. And it was, honestly, I think it was, just think about the work that was done to prevent those prosecutions from going forward. And I mean, Landmark had a small part to play in some of it, the document retention cases, the Mar-a-Lago, but and again, credit where credit is due to the Supreme Court in that context. They did hold that there was some immunity attached to some of his actions regarding the J6, so that the president couldn't be prosecuted for some of the actions when he was just seeking legal counsel. So there, at least at some point, I understand you and I, and we do this all the time. There's lots of distrust in institutions, but at some point, some instances, we get the right results. And what you were talking about right there, by hook or by crook, he was able to run for president again and get elected. And but for some of those folks on the Supreme Court, those justices, we wouldn't be in the position we are right now. Could you imagine all this stuff we're talking about? Could you imagine a different president, a President Harris, under that administration?
Oh, my word. I mean,
imagine that parade of horribles.
But they would have then really buried the abuses, the atrocities, the weaponization, and the illegitimacy that took place. We now have a chance that at least is exposed. We must go for the jugular. This information of the election theft is fantastic. But this preventing of election integrity in the future, this falls directly on the shoulders of Mitch McConnell. And I think he's dead. I think that is the greatest scandal. I think Mitch has been dead for 2 weeks. Either that or they're going to wheel him out like Gary Oldman and Dracula with his hair all done. I'm just telling you, why must I tolerate this? How can they run this kind of interference?
Here's the other one. He's not look. It's also John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, and Lisa Murkowski. Lisa Murkowski is the senator from Alaska, and she will not budge on this. She wrote an editorial about why the Save America Act will never pass. I'd say, first of all, primary the heck out of it. The next thing is are you kidding me? You can't strike a deal with the people of Alaska for any concerns they have to alleviate them. So the whole country is held hostage by several hundred people who are worried about getting to a poll or having to show proof of citizenship.
No, it's a corrupt state that operates on government funding. It always was. She's a hand-me-down senator. Her father was as crooked as a jaybird. The father dies. She hands it down to the girl prior to his death or right after his death. I mean, that's a Chicago alderman nonsense. All these areas that exist on government fraud are corrupt. They're voting for their own self-interest. What is the true face of greed? A man who wants his own money or a thief that wants his neighbor's money? Right? That's what Alaska is. Alaska's a welfare state, always has been. Now, should it be because the government handcuffs them from taking advantage of their natural resources? Okay, that's a separate argument. Nonetheless, why has she never been primaried anyway? She's an offense to any kind of integrity. She's a handmaid. She was the daughter of a crooked politician. It's right out of Chicago alderman stuff.
Look, there's sins you can't forgive, and for me, from that perspective, the sin you can't forgive if you can't support the Save America Act. I don't care what you do subsequent to that. I don't care what you do behind that. If you can't get behind a piece of legislation that 80% of Americans agree on is necessary, then you are not representing your constituency, and that is something to botch a quote from a famous movie. That is something I cannot forgive.
I agree, but it always is about the money. This wouldn't mean anything if we didn't have to bail it out.
But here's the thing: is it is. But my point is pay the money, whatever's necessary at this point, by hook or by crook. Drag some of these provisions. Drag the identification on when you vote in a federal election. The mandatory identification when you vote in a federal election. Whatever you have to do to get that piece of legislation through the Congress of the United States should be done. Whatever you have to do to mandate that you have to establish that you're a citizen when you register to vote. These are common sense, necessary provisions that need to get forward to restore. Again, 40%, at least 40% of the United States has lost faith in the integrity of the electoral system. And that in and of itself is a national tragedy, Shaun, and we need to do something immediately to rectify that.
Well, and I always say, if you look at the states that are fighting this, these are the states that are bankrupt. These are the states that exist on an illusion of any kind of financial solvency. These are the most corrupt states in America. There has to be a way to detach the decent from the indecent by law. That's what the whole country is, right? That's the beauty of the republic. The beauty of the republic is even if a certain cancer of corruption infects XYZ states, the decent have the ability to offset the liability. You can't legislate me into servitude, or at least in theory you can't. What's the best way for Landmark Legal to attack it? I want to get my name on the fracking thing. Shaun Thompson fights the world. Landmark Legal Foundation is my representation. Come on.
We'll keep putting our heads together and try to arrive at an answer to that, Shaun.
I'm telling you, we do this little by little, and when you hear and you see what's going on with this illusion of, this is the other thing, Michael. There's no such thing as communism. It's a theory. There's no such thing as socialism or Marxism. What it is the power of the collective to abuse and extort the true minority, the individual, with perpetuity, forever in existence, and there are no rules. Why hasn't there been challenges by these landlords in New York that are having their fracking property taken away from them? How can you explain there's no lawsuit yet?
Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to mention to you, too. I read about it today, and I thought about you. I said the fact that if you see the political breakdown of the people who have advanced collegiate degrees who make less than $100,000 are some of the most angry people in the world, and they all skew left, right? And the people who make over $100,000, $200,000 a year without a high school degree are the people who skew right the most. What does that tell you, right? The hardworking people of America who go out there with their sweat and their effort and make something out of their lives. It's not a coincidence where they fall on the political spectrum, is it, Shaun?
No, it's the useful versus the useless. It always has been.
Exactly.
What we've done, what my generation really perpetrated, and because I'm the one that could be their father, right? You could be, and what we've done is we've taught this generation that is now graduating from college, these kids who would still even entertain the idea of a philosophy that's responsible for the death of 180 million people around the world. What we've done is we gave them, not me, but my generation gave them trophies for showing up. Right. And you go to college. College when I was a kid. You know who went to college? People who had no ambition. Nobody that I ever knew who went to college had ambition. Everybody I know, we couldn't wait to go to work. We were dying to go to work when we were sophomores in high school. We wanted to bite everything and make as much as we can and fool around with some of our friends' girlfriends. That's how we lived. But now they want to go to college and they want to get out and say, ooh, I'm entitled to $400,000 a year. So these are the kids who went to soccer, went to football, went to baseball, and sucked, and they got a trophy. What do you expect? I mean, I'm surprised it's not worse, quite honestly.
Right, and you do this. If you do go to school, you go to do what? To become with a goal of becoming marketable and having a skill to sell in the public sphere, and not to just go and navel gaze for 4 years, or God forbid, 7 years if you want to achieve some sort of graduate degree.
Do you know my favorite reality of the Founding Fathers? I mean, you could argue about so many of them and who they were and how many were young and all the rest of it. But who's the real intellect that started the whole thing with the leather apron society, the reason he's on the $100 bill, right? It's Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, who founded Penn State. I mean, his whole articulation.
University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, University of Penn. But he started all the papers that started all the information about making people think. He was arguably the greatest intellect of them all. He left school at 10 years old.
Yeah, the width and breadth of his achievements is astounding. When you get into any of the biographies of some of these guys, it's beyond belief. And the fact that he lived so long was amazing too. For that, think about that. If he weren't again, I always go to divine providence with those guys. The fact that he managed to continue on and have such a long, extended life to be able to influence those founders, the founding generation, was incredible.
He left school. He left school when he was 10 years old. He signed an indentured servant agreement with his brother for 9 years when he was 11. Did you know that? It's amazing when you look into this guy. It's amazing.
Absolutely mind-boggling. The fact that, not to get us few of it, the fact that George Washington wasn't killed in the French and Indian War was, again, divine providence. There's no way that you can look at the risks he placed himself into. How many horses were shot out from under him, for example?
Oh, it's
the fact that he'd go into these skirmishes and everybody around him would be shot and killed, but he would live. There's no other conclusion that you can draw other than the fact that it was divine providence was looking out for him.
And it all boils down to kids who want something for nothing, but they don't have the will to fight for it.
Right.
And, I don't know if you saw in the Cubs game, I'm not a sports guy, but I watched that old man crack that young punk who wouldn't stand up for the national anthem. Did you see it?
Yep, on the back of the head. Absolutely.
Now there's a
you need more of that.
There's a tell there. And the tell is the not just the capitulation after he got cracked in the head, which by my house was called a how you doing or good morning. But the look on his face of fear. Here's an 80-year-old man. He'd have a hard time opening up a ketchup bottle. He slapped you in the head. You were terrified. The reason they subscribe to this philosophy is because it is the philosophy of cowards. A socialist is a coward. A communist is a coward. Marxists are cowards. That's who subscribes to the American Democrat Party today are cowards. And that's what we need to focus on.
Always. Takers, not providers. I mean, exactly. What can you take? You come into society, you're locusts. You just decide what can we take from this wonderful society that's been built by our forefathers and our traditions, and people try and continue, as I say, people who want to go out and build something. We come in, we don't build, they take. They don't build, they take. They take what we build. They profit off our sweat and our hard work. And again, the accountability comes into it. And this is why it's so imperative to restore the faith in the justice in the electoral system. And so we all can continue to believe we can effectuate change via the ballot box.
And I am telling you, it's law that will set us free. The rule of law. It really is. It's you, brother. You were the one that was smart enough to get your law degree. I'm the one smart enough to have Landmark Legal Foundation on, and you. So I appreciate you doing this. Where's the best place? Landmarklegal.org, correct?
You got it, brother. You got it, my friend.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you making time. I know how busy you are. Thank you.
Always. Talk to you soon, Shaun. Bye-bye.
Right. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Adult Beverage Solutions is looking for a brand ambassador in all areas for beverage sampling events. You have the ability to create your own schedule because most events take place Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at local grocery stores and independent liquor stores. Flexible scheduling with the ability to choose events that you would like to work. Receive event pay weekly. State alcohol certification is mandatory for all ambassadors. Must be 21 years of age. Competitive pay with the opportunity to earn bonus for exceptional performance. Each event, you will provide consumers with product education while collecting consumer feedback. If you are interested, our team would like to connect with you about this opportunity. Please email us at careers.abstastings@gmail.com with your information and where you are located, and our team will be in touch soon. Or check us out online at adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now. That's adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now.
Tired of that outdated bath or shower but dread the cost and hassle of a lengthy remodel? Let Jacuzzi Bath Remodel come to the rescue with the perfect bathroom remodel at a price you can afford. Maybe stepping over that high bathtub feels unsafe, or you want to add a beautiful bath your whole family can enjoy. Whether it's a safer, easy entry shower complete with grab bars and a custom seat, to a beautiful spa-like family bath that's functional and stylish. With a Jacuzzi Bath Remodel, you can enjoy your personalized bath or shower installed in as little as 1 day. Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. To schedule your free design consultation and quote, call now. Call 800-384-5277. That's 800-384-5277. 800-384-5277. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
There will be no cowards, no communists, no Marxists, no socialists, no Kamala Harris voters, no Joe Biden voters, no Fourth Reich members of any kind on August 28th at the Lakeside Pavilion at the Westin in Chicago. It's just going to be me and you. And all you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest to be there. You just have to register. It's free. How do you like that? There's a little something that socialists can get into. Free. But we're the decent, and we will not be around the indecent, especially on Friday, August 28th at Lakeside Pavilion. Now, the reason you register, we have to know who you are. Kind of like voting. We don't want illegals there. By the way, there will be no illegals there. But we have to know how much food to have ready for you. There will be food available. There will be drinks available. We have to know how many seats they have there. We need enough seats for everybody. I want everybody to be comfortable on our family get-together. That's what ShaunFest is. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Just register and be there. It's really that simple. There'll be a band there. Honey Bunny, Squirrel will be there. All the people I interview will be there. And in between, we have a live band, and we have somebody else singing the national anthem at the end of the night, as August 28th is a Friday. I can't wait to get there. Westin in Itasca is beautiful, right off 355. Behind it is the pavilion, so I can smoke cigars, and you can come there. Can't wait to meet you August 28th. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest, sponsored in part by so many of our great sponsors who will be there as well. That's Virago, leaving i-l.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrotto, Unique Wooden Flags, Class A Insurance, owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. Randy Donnelly will be there. We're all going to be there, but you have to be there. 560theanswer.com/SHAUN Fest. See you there. When we get back, 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, we see mainly clear skies overnight with a low of 60. President Trump speaking with reporters this morning before departing for the dignified transfer service at Dover Air Force Base, calling the American service members killed by Iranian forces heroes. He also defended the ongoing war with Iran, claiming many Americans still support it.
A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon?
The U.S. and Iran have exchanged more fire across the Middle East. Thousands are being told to evacuate from the path of a fast-spreading wildfire in California's Bay Area. 2 Illinois State Police troopers were injured in a serious rollover crash along Cicero Avenue this morning. Police investigating say that crash involving an ISP vehicle and 2 others happened just after midnight. Cubs and Tigers from Wrigley, while the White Sox look to battle the Rangers in Dallas. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news and traffic at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the evening commute with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Kennedy, it is a heavy trip at 45 minutes out to O'Hare. The Edens going out is fine. Spur slowing down Spur to Nile Center. On the Eisenhower Post Office to 390, that's an hour, while the outbound Stevenson is also an hour to get to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive with an accident at California on the side. 30 minutes outbound Ryan Titan the Express Pershing to Marquette. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in both directions. Tri-State busy as well. Eastbound Jane Addams Stall Center Lane at Terrell, and you'll see delays southbound 355, which is slowing down as well. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mainly clear skies with a low of 59. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring mostly sunny conditions with a high of 80. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. Looking ahead to Friday, anticipate nice weather with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In DuPage County, regular no lead is $3.68 a gallon at the Citgo on 75th in Woodridge, $3.83 a gallon at the Quick Trip on Swift Road in Addison, and $3.83 a gallon at the Delta Sonic on North Avenue in Elmhurst.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Vintage toys or model trains in the attic? Sell them for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The FBI just announcing the arrest tonight of Khaled Ahmad Satiri. Now, he was wanted on the most wanted fraudsters list.
Khaled Ahmad Zatari. It's less fun to say than you think it would be, wouldn't it? Ask me. Hamid, Atid, whatever.
Accused of orchestrating a massive Medicare fraud worth more than $500 million.
Woo!
He was
We're going to Sizzler. You think he went to Sizzler? This thieving rat pig. Why aren't the Democrats upset?
Indicted back in 2019, accused of using medical testing labs he owned to fraudulently bill Medicare for expensive and unnecessary genetic testing. Prosecutors also allege here that he paid millions of dollars in illegal kickbacks to physicians and patient recruiters. On the run since 2022, he's now the
physicians and patient recruiters. This is the problem with this idea of utopia. The scum, like those physicians and those other assets to this scam, they're all in on it.
third suspect arrested from that most wanted fraudsters list by the FBI. He faces charges including wire fraud, healthcare fraud, and money laundering conspiracy.
Charges? Let's hang him.
Happen again and again and again. Federal law mandates, requires us to pause that funding so that the states fix the problems. That is the story behind today's announcements.
Oh, that's good too. So in other words, every state that has these scum, these scams, every state, crooked doctors, you crooked rat, all Democrats, registered Democrats, I'm speculating. All these physician assistant, patient assistants, that was all created under Obamacare, right? You need an advocate? Right here, I got your advocate. Stop the money today to every rat state that condones thievery of entitlements that should not exist.
In Minnesota and California, our reviews are going back to just over the last few years, turned up the same recurring theme again and again, every single quarter. Claims in these same high-risk categories that the states have not yet been able to document fully and acceptably to the federal government. Claims that are unresolved and claims that smell like fraud.
Like O'Hare and Michelle Obama's underwear drawer? Same thing.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on Fox 9 and Fox Local. I'm Randy Meyer.
And I'm Kelsey Carlson. Our top story tonight, a community meeting to address concerns about Somali youth gangs.
Maury Glover was there and joins us live with details. Maury,
Turns out 80% of the Somalians are on welfare. 20% are perpetrating fraud. And their kids are gangbangers.
A lot of eyeballs on this one tonight in the community.
Well, our cameras were not allowed in the meeting because some parents didn't want their kids to know they're here. Still, the sheriff...
Nobody can recognize you. You're dressed like a mailbox.
...had a lot to say about what he calls a growing problem.
There's never a good time to have a hard conversation. That's the problem.
That's that Minnesota wisdom for you. Just so nice.
But the longer we go not having this conversation, the more people are going to die.
Now, the sheriff says there are 12 Somali gangs involving about 300 young people who are responsible for 14 murders and more than 100 shootings over the last couple of years.
That's that cultural enrichment they promised. Terry, Shirekistan.
Hey, Shaun, two quick things. You know about this photo ID? How about reversing it? Have a copper from the police lockup, the turnkey. Take your picture just as you're putting the vote in the ballot counter, and then they could do facial recognition that night, and they could find out who voted more than once and their ballot number.
There is one reason people come here illegally, and that is for anonymity. This notion, this fraud, that people cannot get a photo ID, it's not an insult. It's not even an excuse. What it is a confession. Do you know anybody, Terry, in your life? I'm dead serious. Do you know anybody in your building, in your life, on your block? Do you know one person who does not have identification?
Well, mine makes me look like the village idiot.
Well, nonetheless, it's ID. There is no such thing as an adult over 16 years old. I don't even think over 14. I don't even think over 12 that does not have identification. This is the argument of we're Democrats and we're stupid. Please let us go. Please. We're Democrats and we're stupid. Just look at Chris Welch. If stupid had a face, it would be his. Rick, Des Plaines.
Hey, Shaun, I got the license plates for you. Instead of the land of 10,000 lakes up there in Minnesota, it should be the land of 10,000 fakes.
I like this. You know what, Rick? When I see the plates when I'm in Florida, and I see the plate, it really immediately invokes an emotion, right? You see a Minnesota plate, you just think scumbag. You see an Illinois plate, you think professional, scumbag. You see a Connecticut plate, you say, probably doesn't know, Tuesday or July. These are the kind of plates. This is what these areas are. It's instinctive. You know it. Just listen to how they run their areas, and I don't care where it is.
Right, more than 7,000 people have already voted in the city of Milwaukee, either using drop-off boxes like this one or through the mail, 10 times that many statewide. And with
No, they didn't. 70,000 people in Wisconsin didn't vote using drop boxes. Those are 70,000 illegitimate votes. Cheeseheads, 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You know that feeling when you call your insurance company and you know that you're getting put into queue? Nobody wants to go through that. Specifically, Tommy and TJ Iaquinta with Class A Insurance. They're a father and son team built right here in Chicago's southwest suburbs on one idea: treat people like family. See, because they're independent, they're not stuck in pushing one company policy on you, one company rates on you. They shop the best carriers in the country, names you'd recognize, and find coverage that actually fits your life, your home, your car, even your boat and motorcycle. That's why they've been named one of the top 25 home insurance agencies in Chicago. 2 generations, 1 agency, and clients that stick with them for years. When something happens and claims happen, Tommy or TJ is the one who picks up the phone and walks you through the process themselves. If you're paying for a policy you don't understand from a company you never talk to, it's simple. Head to 560insurance.com. That's 560insurance.com. Get a free quote in minutes at 560insurance.com.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
AM 560. The Answer.
These democratic socialists, they're crazy. And you're like, well, but that generally their crazy ideas aren't where the energy is. The energy isn't around like, we shouldn't have prisons or borders. The energy is around a belief that they're economic populism. And when you call it socialism, I think it's a
Boy, isn't that funny? Here's the class clown, a moron, Jon Stewart. Wisdom, statesman of the Democrat Party. Who exactly are the beneficiaries of all of this fun stuff? All of this free stuff. Who exactly are the beneficiaries that don't pay for food or rent or life? Are they scumbags? Are they rapists? Are they pedophiles? Are they drug addicts?
Department of Homeland Security told me he's from El Salvador and he's in the country illegally. I looked into his criminal history and he has a lengthy rap sheet in our area.
See, John, I don't want to buy that scumbag anything. You know what I want to do? I want to take a screwdriver and see if I can go from one ear to the next. That's what I want to do. Do I got to pay his rent? Should I pick up his dinner? What do you want, some teeth? Go get yourself some teeth. I'm sick of looking at that gold stuff around what used to be your tooth. Go ahead. Drinks are around the house. Is that what socialism is?
Misnomer. Like in the same way that if you call Social Security socialism, that's kind of a misnomer. It's about strengthening a safety net for.
Social Security is a misnomer if I call it socialism? How's it work? What's the formula? Hey, scumbag, a third and I'm being kind, it's really 37%, of people who pay their whole life die within 3 years of collecting it, which means more than a third never get it. They get taxed and their employer gets taxed. Where's the money, John? Where's the money now? You fracking scumbag. Did you go to college, John? You smart? Oh, you're a Democrat. If you are a Democrat, is a confession. You're not smart. You're not useful. You're quite the opposite. You're dumb enough to think this works.
A country that has suffered too long overvaluing capital and money and undervaluing.
Well, you go throw in your money. Throw it in. What do you make, scumbag? Throw it in. Notice all these guys? We were 10 million, 50, 40. Are you a big fat trust fund baby? Worth billions like Pritzker? Couldn't do a jumping jack. Could you? Do a jumping jack. Can you do a push-up? How about a pull-up? Throw it in. You guys are socialists, right? It's going to be great. It's like Social Security.
Labor and work. That's all.
Yeah. And you know who's clapping? Bunch of bust-outs that were smoking dope, fooling around with their roommate, whether it was a guy or a girl or both, and they don't want to pay their student loan. It's the lowest form, the most useful cowards in our society who want to feel good about good for nothing.
My name is Dina Nina, and I'm...
No, it isn't. Your name is Pete, and your father drove into a cement pylon because you were his son, you useless piece of garbage. Transvestites.
They call themselves democratic socialists, almost as though they're ashamed to tell the American people what they actually believe. I mean, they should say it loud. They should say it proud. So let's call it what it is. It's communism. And I'm glad y'all are reporting on it. That is exactly what we need.
That's one of our women. Lovely, beautiful Congresswoman from Michigan, McLean. See how much better we are than them? We're better than them at everything. At life, at paying for our bills, at succeeding. We are better. They are not. They are the face of greed. They're entitled because they breathe. Gimme, 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 gimme. Good for nothing.
Because that is exactly who the left is. They don't need little nicknames like the Democratic Socialists of America and these acronyms. Just tell the American people what you believe in. Communism.
You can call yourselves communism, Democrats, socialists, Marxists, or Fourth Reich. What you are is useless. We'll be back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.
Perhaps you're a collector, or perhaps all of a sudden you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Shaun Thompson for Donnelly Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donnelly Auctions. With their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions, they have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonnellyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donnelly does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers. It's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1862, Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Act, helping states create colleges focused on agriculture, mechanics, science, and practical education. The principle was not centralized control, it was opportunity. Lincoln's Morrill Act reminds us that America can support education without surrendering education to Washington. Why did it matter? Because a free nation needs citizens equipped to work, build, steward, and govern themselves. Scripture gives work a sacred weight. In Genesis, God placed man in the garden to work it and to keep it. Proverbs honors the one who works his land. Paul warns against idleness and calls believers to earn their bread. Why does that still matter today? Because education should form capable people under God, not dependent subjects under bureaucracy.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff, probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Money, 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 money. Boy, it's amazing how the Biden administration not only depleted our strategic reserve, but then shut down one facility where it was inoperable. We're going to discuss fuel costs, waste, fraud, and abuse with somebody who's been commenting on the economy for 30 years. And the reason he's been doing it for 30 years is he's been right since day one. Scott the Cow Guy Shality will join us after Foxweiser News.
More strikes launched. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. U.S. Central Command says the latest round began about an hour and a half ago and that they will continue to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten civilian mariners and commercial vessels in the region as a terror organization joins the conflict.
The Houthis have targeted and hit at least one tanker, perhaps two that were carrying Saudi oil in the Red Sea. This basically broadens the war. It creates a second front and really puts the risk of chaos in the world oil market at a much higher level.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. During a stop in Marietta, Georgia, President Trump again said Iran wants to make a deal and claimed the U.S. doesn't need Iran's oil.
We don't need the Hormuz Strait, but we do it because we have to do it because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
Meanwhile, House Republicans have narrowly passed a $95 billion package that would help fund the Iran conflict. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia have signed a new nuclear agreement that could pave the way for the kingdom to enrich uranium for its civilian nuclear program. A Fox News poll sheds light on what Americans think of President Trump, the midterms, and economic growth.
A Fox News poll of over 1,000 U.S. voters finding if the November election was today, 53% would back the Democratic candidate in their House district, while 46% would back the Republican. The Democratic advantage comes as President Trump's approval rating stands at 39%, unchanged for the last 3 months. Roughly 3/4 of those polled, 76%, say they'd rate the economy as only fair or poor, and another 3/4 say inflation has caused them financial hardship. 23% want dramatic change in the government, 50% viewing capitalism positively, 30% favoring socialism, up 3% from last year.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, 31% of respondents view the Democratic Socialist of America positively. America's listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
McKennedy, downtown out to O'Hare, still about 45 minutes, while the outbound Edens is okay. Eisenhower in hour and 35. An accident at Beesterfield. 3 right lanes are blocked. Stop and go from Gulf Road. The outbound trip is an hour with an accident reported at Laramie. Stevenson outbound, give yourself 50 minutes out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound Ryan 28, Express Stop and Go, Pershing to Marquette. It is still heavy on DuSable Lakeshore Drive as always, both directions. Same for the Tri-State. Jane Addams eastbound heavy with a stall at Terrell still in the center lane. Southbound 355 also sluggish. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mainly clear skies with a low of 59. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring mostly sunny conditions with a high of 80. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. As we head into Friday, anticipate nice weather with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-465-1959 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-465-1959. That's 800-465-1959. What do you have to lose? Call 800-465-1959. Again, 800-465-1959.
How many times are you going to walk into that outdated bathroom and think, I really need a bathroom makeover? Stop putting it off and transform your bathroom and your life in as little as one day with a beautiful, affordable shower makeover from Jacuzzi Bath Remodel. Choose from custom designs tailored to your budget and style, including safety-focused features for beauty and peace of mind.
I've had a great experience from start to finish. The crew that came in, they were so professional. This looks like a marble, beautiful, new shower, and it was done all in one day.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-384-3318. That's 800-384-3318. Call 800-384-3318. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Charge from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Wyoming. These are the states that have no state income tax. What are the states with the most debt? California, New York, Illinois, Connecticut. Boy, what are the common denominators of both? Democrats run bankruptcies. Republicans don't, and it's tax-free. What's the decision? What's to talk about? Success, failure, and how capitalism is affected by communism in America disguised as Democrats. Scott the Cow Guy Shality, host of the Cow Guy Close on RFD TV. How are you, handsome?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me on. I can't wait for Wednesdays in my life.
Did you ever think you'd say that? Hump Day. Kamala Harris Hump Day. However, it's really that simple at this point of the game. When you look at the magnitude of the failure of these once great areas like our own. I don't know if you saw this idea of deserts of business and food, but there's another store that was existing primarily on SNAP benefits, closing their 7 chains in Chicago. I mean, the failure is so undeniable. The incompetence, the corruption, the malpractice of the education and services. Why are we still entertaining Democrats? Why haven't we outlawed the idea if you're dumb enough to be a Democrat, you can't vote anymore?
It's gotten so polarized, and it's interesting. I did a story about this 2 days ago, but we've disenfranchised. There's a lot of disenfranchised people out there, and it's not. Some of it's due to their fault. A lot of it's due to some government policies, but they still believe that the conservatives are out for big business and looking after the rich. When it's actually flipped now, the conservatives are more of a working man's group, but they can't get it out of their brains. But there are more There's more people that are generous in the Conservative Party. They're about the dollars and cents. Yeah, there is a social safety net, but you got to run some things fiscally responsible, or you're going to have nothing that's going to go to hell in a handbasket, like all those states that you just brought up. It's undeniable. The math does not lie. We used to have a football coach at Colorado who would always say that he would tape practices and say the eye in the sky does not lie. Well, the numbers in this case do not lie, whether they're good or they're bad. And it just goes to show you that for somehow there's this plausible deniability where these people just don't want to believe what's right in front of their very faces until it's going to be too late. Because once they realize it, it'll be too late.
Well, and there's no argument. You think I'm having an argument with you? I made my choice. I took the effort. I went through the expense and the risk and the time. And millions and millions and millions of other people have done this in these Democrat areas. Even though their families had been there for generations, their businesses were there, pick up, and they left. It's really stark when you look at what's going on. And the other thing is, the only reason that these other states can exist is because of a federal financial structure that allows the rest of the nation, 10% of the counties suck up 60% of all benefits. That has to come to an end. How do we detach? You've done a lot of research and money. We talk about money, and you've got the states that have no income tax and states that have high income tax. Ultimately, it only exists because the federal government allows the most corrupt states to continue to operate, and they don't shut the money off. Don't you think if we could really put the stake through the heart of the American mafia by simply stopping the financing of these Democrat corrupt areas such as Illinois?
Oh, absolutely. But then you're going to get everybody crying foul, saying you're killing children that need their benefits, or poor people that can't get a job, or the indigents, which is going to, they're going to do that anyway. But what you have to do is you have to, cut the head of the snake off. I'm sick and tired of it. But I can't believe that those on the left are not up in arms about the fact that their hard-earned tax-paying dollars went to pay for the shelter and the food and to look after all these illegal immigrants that did not put a dime into the system. I don't understand. I mean, right there and then, to me, the left lost its argument. How are they spending our tax money on people that didn't put a damn thing into the pot to begin with? And now they're broke. And now they're cutting your services and hoping for a government handout. It's absolutely unconscionable, yet they're still standing up there facing the press and the public, and they're not even embarrassed about it. Well, how can you keep giving away our stuff without these people ever having you cannot do that. You can't have benefits and no border.
Low character and low intellect, and they're getting away with it because we allow this. This is the other thing, right? At a certain point, what would happen in the real world? You're put into receivership. You're going to operate under a restructuring scenario. So the deal is, whatever you thought you had, you cannot legislate in America communism or socialism or enslave your neighbor to the government worker. We know you pretended you did, but you can't. It's time for the men to come in the way the bank comes in when you stop making payments. The way the investors come in when you shaft them. When you steal the money, you go buy a Rolls Royce and you don't pay the dividends to the people who put up the money. It's here. Today's the day. We stop it all. It goes into receivership, and we restructure your benefits for your simpletons who you call constituents. And here's how you do it, the way it always should have been done. You want sustenance? The provider is reimbursed, and that's it. No more are we pretending economic illiterate children in man suits and women's suits are responsible enough to give the benefit to directly. You know, this all could stop tomorrow. You don't get the. Are you a bum? Are you a moron? Can you not read or write? You don't get the money. The money goes to what you need. You got to go to the grocery store. You can't pay for your food. All right, Jewel, take down this idiot's Social Security number. What did this idiot buy? Bing, bing, bing. The government reimbursed Jewel. Jewel will not steal, because if it does, it will never exist again. If you keep pretending that thieves, scoundrels, and American Democrats can have their own money, you're insane. It's like giving Hunter Biden a Corvette. He's just going to smash it. It's over with.
Yeah, look, I agree. And then now you find out. I mean, look what this Nick Shirley's uncovered in Minnesota and California. He's going to go around the world, around the country doing that. And then Secretary Benson comes out and says that they think they found like $100 billion in Medicare fraud, which is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't even know where to begin the outrage. I don't know how to even. But there's going to be deniers that say that that's not true, or you're picking on a certain class of people, or you don't like Somalis. I'm telling you right now.
I don't. Here's the other thing. I don't like you. I don't like you. Your entire country, your entire culture came to my country. You've been robbing us. You've been robbing us in Maine. You rob us in Ohio. You rob us in Minnesota. I got to like you now? I don't like you. I don't like you. I also got a cousin who I think is a useless piece of dung. If I ever see him again, I'm going to beat the hell out of him. He's a scumbag, too. I don't like scumbags. Do I have to pretend I do? Maybe that's the biggest problem. We kept buying this idea that you can have some sort of induced naivete, induced stupidity. Whether you want to call it political correctness or not is up to you. I don't care anymore.
How do you come to my country? You come from an absolute dog, horrible, rundown, corrupt country, and you come to my country, you get naturalized as a citizen, and then 7 years later, you want to run for and get elected to be the mayor of New York, and then tell me what it's like to be an American?
Well, there's also what's ironic about it, right? These are all people who come to the country they're fleeing a theocracy, chaos, bankruptcy, and corruption. And you come here and you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You come here and you do the same thing. Now, let's pretend we're back in Mogadishu. You know what you do? What you steal from me in Mogadishu, I'll cut your fracking hands off and feed them to my goat, who I may take to dinner on a Saturday night. But we're doing that now. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's preposterous.
Well, yeah, exactly right. And then if you want to be the third world, go ahead and start to import it, and you will be. That's what we've done. And we let these people steal right underneath our noses, and nobody had the temerity to try to stop it, because it looked like it was going to be racism, because everybody's so afraid of being called a racist. And it doesn't mean anything anymore, because everybody's a racist, apparently.
Yeah.
I've had enough of it.
Yeah. You know what I really hate? White people. I can't stand those white blue-eyed bastards, especially the commies, especially the Daily Democrats, you short-in-the-pants scoundrels. I can't stand white people either. Maybe we start a whole new party that if you ain't of a certain character or IQ, you're not allowed. What do you think?
Might be like 7 people in your party, but
be like my cigar store on a weekend, and you loved it. You loved it.
How about this? Here's another thing I'm really losing my mind up. I'm trying to craft a good argument about it, but all these people that get up to a podium and say, just like they recognize that we're on the stolen Lakota land. Why are we doing that? If you really believe that, then give back your land, whoever you're living, give it back to whomever the Dakota or Lakota are, and stop this fake. I'm sorry that I'm on your stolen land, but I'm not going to give it back garbage. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Or is it brilliant? And I'll tell you what I mean by this. In order to get somebody to embrace policies that are self-destructive, you must first take away their own character and their own dignity. Even though your policies pretend to deliver it, you must take the individuals away, right? And that's how you could have all of this talk, this new rise of the repulsive, the American communist movement, right? So in order to do that, you must make them feel guilty or obligated for something they had nothing to do with. And also, you have to tell them the lie of why that is a lie, right? So you have to make it feel like the big white guy came with his costume on from the Santa Maria. He lands on Plymouth Rock and he kills all the Indians, rather than the reality of what happened. and the Comanche, which my favorite Indian tribe, bar none. You know why, Scott, do you know what that translates to? Why they were the most feared? Enemy of all. The Comanche were me. They were the enemy of everybody. They didn't like anybody. And who they really didn't like were other Indians. Killed them all, enslaved them, raped their women. They were like the Islamo-Nazis of America before Mohammed made up that fraud religion. So it's a fascinating reality that how miseducated, how undereducated. And you know what else we did? We pay $1 trillion a year for the public school system, and it's kicking out communists. Why don't we stop doing that first?
Well, why is everything in play all the time? Why isn't there a definitive book on history? Why has everybody always got to say, oh, that's written by a racist point of view? Oh, that's not right.
Howard Zinn. I mean, one man did that. One man.
Yeah, but why? There's nothing that's definitive. Everything's in play, and it drives me crazy because you can cite something that you think is reasonable, and the other side will say, no, that's written by a guy that beat his wife 25 years ago, so he has to be discounted. I don't know. It's unbelievable. There is no definitive ruling on anything. Everything is in play nowadays, so there's always, this is what they do, always moving the goalposts. I do like the Conservative Party because there's a standard, and that standard is the goalpost, and it's always stayed where it's at. But on the left, they move the goalpost depending on the argument. Well, and that's what they do every single time.
I'll tell you that. I'll bet you a steak dinner. And let me tell you something. I know it would be cheaper to take you to Nordstrom's. I'm still willing to risk it. I'll bet you a steak dinner.
I go to Omar the Tent Maker. I don't go to Nordstrom's.
I will bet you a steak dinner that Mitch McConnell, this will be the biggest political scandal. This will suck all the air out of the room of the stolen election, of Obama using the CIA. And I really do believe that Jiminy Cricket lookalike scoundrel's been dead for weeks. I do.
I mean, it's unbelievable. That would be an absolute.
He says no from his bedroom, from the hospital bed. No on the SAVE Act. Put him on the camera. I want to watch him say no.
Well, the only thing I've seen that made me laugh about it all is they have a picture of it that he's alive and well, and standing at his bedside is John Wayne and Elvis. So
I like the one where he's like Gary Oldman in Dracula. He's got the hairdo and the costume on, and the wife's dressed like remember what's her? Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. But this is the position we're in, and you know what it stems back to, Scott? What you and I used to talk about when you were, I don't know if you, I think you might have moved out by now. Remember when Jeannie Ives was taking on 7 Foot of Stupid? When
I was gone.
Oh, were you gone?
I was gone. Yeah.
But you and I were talking. I remember you'd come into town and then you'd see all the scum Republicans, like from Hassert to LaHood to the Durkins and all the morons that sat there and thought they were in on the scam because they got to wet their beaks the whole years that they were destroying.
Absolutely.
And then, and you see the idea that, listen, man, there's no resistance to corruption. There's no resistance to fraud, to misrepresentation. There's just cut me in or cut it out. And it reminds you of, what happens in these areas. You have to flee, man. You have to. You have to do what businesses do. You have to do what capitalism does. And I'm going to let you know, I called the Texas Stock Exchange thinking we could buy a seat. They laughed at me. They don't do it like that anymore. No seat, no nothing. It's all electronic.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got a friend of mine who's very well versed in all that stuff. And he said, the difference between he thinks there's more business going on in Texas than New York anyway, but that Texas exchange is going to be a very, very big force because they're only going to take a certain quality of company. They're not just going for the listing. You have to be a certain quality of company. So it's not going to just be whoever gets the listing. So I tell you what, we're going to see some changes here. And those 11 states I talk about, and the $9 trillion in GDP, that might just be their own country. I mean, it just might be.
Well, this is the beautiful thing. It's set up that way. And when you look at earnings week and you look at these companies and you look at these capitalists, and, it gives you a certain sense of confidence that maybe you shouldn't have to discount these ghetto areas, these Democrat-run commie areas. But what I think is happening is it is setting up for the legal secession versus a civil war. It's already there. It's already happened. And if you look at Illinois and you see the financial fraud going on here, kid, you wouldn't believe it. Companies all financed by fraud policies. They pretend that they're going to do agriculture. It's all grant money. So-and-so soybean company is going to invest $250 million. It's a grant. They're not going to invest a fracking penny. And when the grant dries up, they're going to bail. I mean, when you look at how few private companies, private jobs exist anymore in Cook County in Illinois, I don't think you have to even win another election. It doesn't matter. Congratulations, you're the governor of an armpit.
I don't. I just look at people. I still follow a lot of people back in Chicago, and especially Chicago. I tell you, I look at the real estate a lot, and I just cannot believe now. It happened about the last 10 business days. I got an email saying that Illinois is now the highest real estate tax in the country. They overtook New Jersey. New Jersey used to be number one.
Yeah.
And so. Why don't people understand? The problem is the people that should leave are not going to be able to afford to leave. And now they're going to make their houses unsellable. And they're absolutely driving these people into dust. And I don't know how long it's going to take them to realize that, but they're sucking you in with these low upfront asset prices. And there's a reason why they're low, numbnuts, is because the place blows, but they're going to suck you in because you're going to get a nice place with a great view and a low HOA. And, oh, by the way, here's your tax bill. It went up by 2.5 times.
Well,
That's what they're going to do.
Well, these neighborhoods have been enclaves forever, right? They're sequestered, right? If you have a good enough neighborhood, you could kind of hope that the scoundrels and the scumbags come out. Well, that has been creeping now, right? So in my old area, nobody moves. You talk about these neighborhoods from Melrose Park, Elmwood Park. They don't move. They're generations. So I'm back now, and good, decent people. I was talking to a kid today.
Are you living there full time now?
I'm in Florida full time. I just come back for parties. And I do. It's a family party. I'll see you on Saturday. So it's funny because I saw a friend of mine who you would know, used to be at the Merc with me, and we all know the same people. And I haven't seen him in years. And I was talking to him today on the side of the road. He was like, it's unbelievable, the private industries, the private businesses, what's happening and how they're taxing us. Now, he's smart enough to have a couple of interests. How they're taxing this and they're taxing that. They're making it more onerous, and family businesses and good thriving businesses, how hard they're hanging on. And they're constantly talking this communism of raising taxes, raising regulations. He's like, I don't know how much more they're going to push us. It's like they don't care. And ta-da, what did you think they did? Did you think they cared about you because you make things go around? If they cared about you, they wouldn't be overtaxing the people who make the quality of life better. They don't care. And that's the sad part. It's going to have to get even further than it is because there's no recognition of how to substantiate the good and not penalize the good and reward the bad. They can't figure it out yet.
Well, no, they can. And again, it's going to be one of those things that when you finally realize that it's too late, you can't go back. It's like you're not going to be able to unring the bell. Tommy Tuberville, I think the governor of Georgia, or whatever he is, a senator, maybe, I can't remember. But yeah. When we had, I think he's a senator, when we had Hochul ban or a 1 year moratorium on data centers in New York, he just took to the airwaves right away and says, "We'll do it. We'll bring down your millionaires and your data centers. We're good to go. We'll put them in." I mean, these states down here, these 11 states with that attitude, they're going to start putting up billboards in Illinois and New Jersey and New York and saying, "Come on down."
Oh yeah,
you see how it really works. Yeah.
You know what's funny about the data centers? I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll tell you why. I don't like cheering what doesn't rationalize and make sense to me. This whole thing of data centers, I heard the morning show Dan had on the guy with the glasses, who was a really good guy. He was a consultant, Stephen Moore. I sat at a wedding with him. And he's like, if you want the internet, if you want maps, if you want your email, well, wait a minute. Whoa. We have all that stuff now. What do you mean? And then you listen to the real brains, right? The Elon Musks, the Bezos. They talk about data centers. They're already starting the project in space. When you look at the data centers in Illinois, there's a big push. Who's the push by? It's by Pritzker. It's by the Democrats as the illusion of a business. And I'm still unsettled with the argument of, why do you need it and why don't I need it? Why don't you have the individual data storage that I control my data? And it gets you cheering for somebody else monetizing Scott's data, my data, the listener's data. I don't like it. You have me cheering too fast without showing me why it's advantageous to have these things. You're just telling me what it is. I feel like the first time an insurance or an encyclopedia salesman came to the store and tried to sell my grandfather. Well, tell me a little bit more. They're not filling me in. I don't like the whole business plan. Am I wrong?
No, you're right to be skeptical. I totally understand that. But here's where I could take away a lot of your skepticism. We have just under 5,000 data centers running in this country right now. and they have been running since 2010. It's not a new thing. It's just that there's been some environmental people that have gotten a hold of it from a different country and from the left that want to slow it down because it's a good thing, and they're using in the environment and things like that to try to slow it down, and it's working. They're getting the general public all worked up about polluting the water and the noise and all the things that go along with it. But we've got almost 5,000 of them running right now in this country, and we have done. So everything that you're talking about has already happened. So it's already been going through data centers. You're about 8 years too late.
Yeah. I think were they privately funded up until now? Why is it so much in the public?
No. Oh yeah, they've been privately funded. Yeah, and so these things. It's been. I had to do some research because somebody kind of came at me on my show, and I went, you know what? Before I flap my gums anymore, I'm going to do some research, and I did. And there's around 4,800 data centers that have been running, and they started in 2010. Okay. So, I mean, it's already happening. It's already done.
Well, I remember that Digital Realty company. Remember that when that came out? I remember when that came out. Yeah, and a friend of mine said, this is going to be. And what they did is they started to redevelop ghetto areas. There's one on Grand Avenue, not far from, right off of Manheim. And that you want to talk about a blighted area. Whew. And they came in and they rescued some of it. But, Scott, when it comes to this kind of thing, when we talk about the environment, Joe Biden's administration seized 643 million acres of water and land, 44 million acres of land. We're only 6% developed. Why not put these data centers, because they can sustain themselves now that their technology is different. They have their water. They can run on different generators. They can run on solar. They can run on a certain form, a combination of both, or you can simply build nuclear. Right? That's why Bill Gates bought the 3 Mile Island. Why not put them in the middle, truly in the middle of nowhere? We're only 6% developed. Put them right in the middle of one of these 44 million acres that Joe Biden seized.
And make them, and make them be their own power plants, like Trump has mentioned already. So they use less water than a golf course. They can turn themselves into their own power plants. A lot of those things we could put them out there. Or you know what? Another guy wrote on my show, a real smart guy. He says, hey. You know how many blighted, big, mile-long car manufacturing facilities that are empty in this country?
Thousands.
They could be turned into data centers. They could be turned into data centers overnight. They're ready to go.
Yeah, you can't put them in Detroit anymore because somebody will break into them. They don't even care what's inside. They're just looking to break a window. I got to tell you, when I buy some islands in the Bahamas and form my own country, you are definitely going to be the president, the chief assistant, and secretary of money. Will you take the job, Scott Chalaty?
I'll take it before I even know where it's at. I'll take it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I always appreciate you making time every day, 12:30 to 1:30 on RFD TV. Scott Chalaty, Scott the Call Guy, close. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. See you. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I couldn't get off the floor playing with my grandson. We would build a fort, the pillow blanket fort. I couldn't get down on the floor to go through it with him.
Ah, yes, pillow and blanket forts, the stuff grandkid memories are made of. For Donna, it was stolen by joint pain. That's where QC Kinetics came in. Cutting-edge regenerative treatments that help restore aching joints without surgery.
I'm pain-free. When he runs down the driveway to jump up into my arms, I can confidently pick him up and hug him as hard as he's hugging me.
Hugs and blanket forts. QC Kinetics helped Donna get back to the things that brought her the greatest joy.
This is what life's about. Grandkids and being able to be mobile enough to participate. None of this would have been possible without the QC Kinetics team. They were wonderful.
Call QC Kinetics for your Get My Life Back free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Join Illinois Family Action for the Save America Rally, 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 4th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Former U.S. Comptroller General David M. Walker, along with businessman and author Joe Penland Sr., will offer big, bold, and practical solutions for fixing Social Security and protecting other vital programs from the reach of those who preach for communism in America. And during the Save America Rally, hopeful messages for the land of Lincoln from key Illinois candidates candidates: Darren Bailey for governor, Don Tracy for U.S. Senate, and James Martyr for Congress. Go to IllinoisFamilyAction.org for more information. IFA's David Smith.
Join us as we stand together to save America.
The Save America Rally is free. Be there Tuesday, August 4th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Find out more at IllinoisFamilyAction.org. Paid for by Illinois Family Action.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE. 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
You know, it's interesting. I had talked to Randy. I have the luxury of knowing Randy, and I asked him questions about how to repair antiques because I like keeping them. I'll admit it right now. I like keeping them. I think they're going to be worth a fortune in the future, even though they're probably worth a fortune now. And I ask him, what's it worth and where can I fix it? I take total advantage of it. You can too. 815-923-7000. Take advantage of 5 decades. Jimmy Carter was telling America they were going to live lower than their fathers for the first time in American history. Democrat scumbag driving up the cost of life itself. Randy Donnelly said, let me help people. Let me help them sell those items for the highest price to offset the stupidity, the ignorance, the corruption, as he was financed by the Rockefellers. Yeah, that's a different story. Of Jimmy Carter. And he did. He helped people sell their items that were in their basement, in their garage, in their attic. Might have been parked in their driveway. Might have been hanging upside down. A bicycle, car, a boat, bicycle, motorcycle, knick-knack that your Auntie Bing left you. You have no idea? 815-923-7000. Randy will know exactly how much it's worth. And if he doesn't, he'll call you back in 10 minutes. Exposing items to the World Wide Web, guaranteeing the highest price. He serves collectors and consigners. You got something, you want to partner up with him? He'll tell you what it's worth. He'll expose it to the World Wide Web, and you'll both make money, and somebody else will be gaining value as well. You don't just have to be a seller or a consigner. You could be a collector. You could even be somebody like me, an annoying keeper who just wants to pick his brain. 815-923-7000 or online at DonnellyAuctions.com. If you're in Union, Illinois, which is, if you have to live in Illinois, I think arguably one of the best places. I mean, it's just, you forget you're drowning in corruption of the Chicago Mafia short-in-the-pants Democrats out in Union, Illinois, and he's having an auction the next day. He opens up that museum, also known as Donnelly Auctions House. Take the kids. It's a beautiful experience, and you can buy things. When we get back, Rick and Wheeling, you're definitely first. 312-642-5600 if you care to participate after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, we see clear skies for the overnight and a low of 60. A 15-year-old boy was shot and killed early this morning. Chicago police say the shooting took place around 1 a.m. in the 4600 block of West Jackson. Meantime, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office has declined to file charges after Sunday night's deadly shooting outside of a Lincoln Park bar. That bar is now closed. 43rd Ward Alderman Timmy Knudsen explains why.
It gives the police superintendent the right to close an establishment for up to 6 months if they feel that there is a risk or a pattern of violence occurring.
Police say a man was shot during an argument outside the bar Sunday night. The U.S. and Iran have exchanged fire across the Middle East. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Asia spoke to reporters about what Iran, he believes, is trying to do.
Commercial ships are going through the straits and they're being blown up. The United States is defending that shipping and, in addition, is targeting the places that are launching against those ships.
The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the evening commute with Jill Urchak.
Here's a final check of the roads. The tollways are still busy on the tri-state anyway. Either direction, northbound, a car fire, 2 right lanes blocked near 95th. Jane Addams remains clear, but eastbound Reagan and southbound 355 still scatter tight pockets. On the Edens going out, no delays. Jammed inbound is 50 minutes. Kennedy 35 downtown to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower accident at Biesterfield on the side, but an hour and 35 in 50 out. Stevenson out 35 to the tri-state, 45 to 355 outbound Dan Ryan, 25 minutes going out on I-57. There was an accident reported at Wentworth. Traffic is a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com, Northwest Indiana's leading home builder. Steiner Homes, love where you live. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mainly clear skies with a low of 59. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring mostly sunny conditions with a high of 80. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. Looking ahead to Friday, anticipate nice weather with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 82. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
Are you 65 or older and dealing with chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the Joint Relief Institute, we've helped thousands find real relief without surgery. Our non-surgical, FDA-approved treatment uses hyaluronic gel that acts like a cushion between the bones in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down, causing painful grinding and popping. But our gel restores that cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to stop the pain and get back to doing what you love? Call the Joint Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. Again, that's 708-315-6800.
JRI. Move better and live better with JRI. Contact the Joint Relief Institute today and get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
It's hard to deny the constant attack of negative emotions that flood us online. The fear, anxiety, worry, and confusion that come from the constant stream of news and social media can be overwhelming. There is a way to escape this never-ending cycle and find peace, hope, and joy in your daily life. Christianity.com, with a wide range of daily devotionals, biblical answers to life's toughest questions, and insightful Bible study articles from your favorite pastors and authors on current events and issues. Christianity.com provides a little heaven on earth. Go to Christianity.com now.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios,
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old porcelain signs, gas and oil collectibles, collectors are waiting. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, before I hop off topics, we're going to take a call here. It's a very important call. I feel better about our conversation with Scott, but to me, it's always, forever, has to be private company, private money. You're making all this fracking money. You don't need any subsidies for data centers or anything else. Put up your money or shut up. Rick in Wheeling.
Yeah, Shaun, the group that you're not hearing about, the leaning labor unions and trade unions, they're not saying a word about this. You don't see them in a big uproar. They're basically against banning any data center because it's millions and millions of jobs and money.
So, Rick, I've watched them. Have you watched them go up? I've watched them for a few years go up. And that one I described on Grand Avenue to the one that went up over here in Elk Grove, when I say they're paying top fracking dollar, their rules are there are no rules. They've got the unions. They're out there. There's hundreds of guys. They're paying top dollar. And you know what that tells me, Rick? They're not paying a fracking thing. We are. And I don't like subsidized anything, especially businesses that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars. You pay for your own fracking stuff. And not only that, I want to know how we lost the conversation of whose data is it anyway. It's my data, right? Or no, you're just going to hold it for me and you're going to monetize it. See, the answer is always individual. You want to have a talk about data? Give me mine. I'll build a little box on my lanai. That's where it'll be. I don't need your anything. Let me monetize my own. That gets lost in the argument of this. And once in a while, they get people to cheer for their own slavery. I won't do it. That's just me. What do you think?
I think it's a great point. I think the unions are just go lockstep with what the hierarchy says, and the hierarchy goes where the Democrats tell them to go.
Sure, and you and I know listen, the guy, I don't blame the guy because they're extorted, especially if you're in a Democrat mobbed up area. But the reason they like these jobs is it's government cheese. It's government money. If they had to compete to get the job, they couldn't get it. That's why they're quiet, or they love the idea they're going in, Rick. The scam is obvious. Thanks for the call, brother. Scam is obvious. You can't compete in the real world. That's why you live in Democrat areas. You think in those 9 states, by the way, you know what the common denominator is? The 9 states without income tax. The 11 states that make up 74% of our GDP, 11 states. And do you know what the other common denominator is of all those states? All those states are not union mafia controlled, which means they're not led by Democrats, morons. Look at your areas. Look at the states you have. You know what else I like about the mafia-run areas? I can't do the job. My kid does the job. And if I'm a real good scoundrel, my grandkid gets the job.
Meantime, Illinois' 97th district has a new state representative. Democrats in Will and Kendall counties unanimously appointed Jessica Dixon Heitman to fill the seat held by former Representative Harry Benton. Benton resigned earlier this month after an ethics investigation. Heitman is the granddaughter of former U.S. Senator Alan Dixon.
What's her qualifications? Same as Dick Mell's daughter, dressed like his son. What are the qualifications? I'm a legacy scumbag. Yeah, you are. Anybody talk to that moron, Cecil the Turtle, known as the Speaker of the Illinois House, to find out why did that guy step down? Was it women, men, or children? You sick bastard Democrats. You're really not hard to figure out. Bob the Trucker, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Hey, Shaun.
Yes.
Hey, man. Let me first say that you absolutely have the best show anywhere in the 48 states of America. I travel them all.
Thank you, brother. And that means the world coming from you, the trucker. Come on now. You hear everybody.
Yeah, man. I talked to you once before.
All right, thank you.
Hey, listen, I got a problem. I got a serious problem. I got 3 liberal, college-educated sons, and I'm constantly debating them, and constantly I'm frustrated as hell. I need your help with one issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we were talking this past weekend about taxes are lower under Donald Trump because of the the beautiful,
big beautiful,
whatever that was.
Yeah, big beautiful, the BBB,
yeah.
big beautiful. Bill.
Okay, so yeah, is that true or not?
Yes.
Okay, so my son just sent me a text a while back, and he said his taxes are higher the last 2 years than they were in 2024. And I said, I'm going to have to check those numbers.
Well, where does
So
he
I called
live?
you.
Where does he live?
He lives in western Wisconsin.
Well, I don't know how that's
right across the river from Mogadishu.
I don't know how that's even remotely possible that his taxes are somehow greater than everybody else's, regardless of tax bracket, unless he's changed something in his own contribution, or if he's including the fact that he now has to pay more for a subsidized insurance policy because he was being subsidized depending on what he does. But your taxes across the board, your taxes across the board under the big beautiful bill, if you work, give you more of your own money. Now, if he's offset because of subsidies or a change in his retirement or something that he decided to do, you can't do that. But here's the other thing you got to tell with all your kids. The reason you should always and forever reject the notion of a progressive tax is it's a confession of Karl Marx. It's the number 2 plank of the Communist Manifesto, which is his book. And the reason he subscribed to a progressive tax is because it disincentivized earning. He knew that. Okay. When he came up with it, he said, how am I going to keep these individualists in line? I know. I'll take more of their money the more they work. A progressive tax is the most unconstitutional thing America's done outside of Social Security. And you know who put it in? Woodrow Wilson, a well-known Marxist.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he decided,
I did know that. Yeah.
The reason they came up with a progressive tax is to disincentivize the Americans who were good at making money, because they knew what they would do. They would make more Americans rich in the way we do. They would become uncontrollable. They'd be real rebels known as Americans. So you tell your sons, the people who subscribe to socialism and Marxism and communism and a progressive tax, they make good slaves. Make sure you tell them that for me, will you?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Bob.
And you are the best, my friend.
Oh, no,
hey, someday I want to meet you.
Come to Shaun
All
Fest.
right,
I'll give you a big hug. Will you come to Shaun Fest or no? It's too busy.
No, when is it?
August 28th. Right off of 355 in Itasca. August 28th.
August 28th.
Go 560theanswer.com. Okay, just check it out. You come there. Believe me, I'm going to give you a hug. All right, I'll see you. Goodbye. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
Oh, I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
Finding great employees is hard. Keeping them is even harder. If you're still trying to attract top talent with just a competitive salary, a 401k match, and health insurance, you're blending in with everyone else. Offer something most employers don't. A split dollar life insurance plan is an executive benefit that can help you recruit, reward, and retain your most valuable employees. Whether you're hiring a key executive, a physician, a top salesperson, or other key employees, a split dollar arrangement can help your offer stand out while encouraging long-term retention. If your company is looking for a recruiting edge, let's have a conversation. Visit 560retirement.com or call 847-474-3888. That's 560retirement.com or 847-474-3888. AE Wealth Management does not provide life insurance, tax, or legal advice. Insurance offered by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc., AE Wealth Management, and Scott Tucker Solutions are not affiliated companies.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, let me start by saying, I was in business before I became governor. I was also an environmentalist.
Wait. Which one is funnier? You were in business. Your mother gave that cross-eyed moron a lap dance. That's why anybody knows your name. Business? What business were you in, fat ass? Environmentalist. By your own logic, you were giving off more CO2 than a dairy cow. You know how you get fat like Pritzker? You eat all day. Drink a lot of booze. Sugar, not good for your third, fourth, and fifth chin. You never worked a day in your life, fat boy.
Well, let me start by saying, I was in business before I became governor. I was also an environmentalist, and a
tax cheat. Oh, a big tax cheat. Not as good as that cross-eyed old man of yours, or Grandpa Abe. But you did okay. Billions and billions. Cheating on the taxes, huh?
For the Pritzkers, avoiding taxes has been a family affair. JB's grandfather, A.N. Pritzker, established dozens of trusts.
And the Democrats, scumbags, they can't wait to put your now saggy ass instead of big fat. The Ozempic, he's on a drip squirrel. Oily stool. Probably got one of them pads in his undershorts. Right back in the office, huh, dummy?
And in 2008, the New York Times declared the Pritzkers were pioneers in using tax loopholes to shelter their holdings from the Internal Revenue Service.
And you know how they got away with it, Squirrel? They bribed powerful politicians.
I have thought a lot about that since you and I talked. And I have to say, I think it makes political sense for both of us.
Oh no! Look, I think this would be great.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that.
The pitch for you, I think, is you're picking,
banking and financial experience and know-how and all of that, right?
Yeah, I don't know about banking, right?
But financial know-how.
Throw my sister in Superior Bank in.
What happened to her bank? She get a class or something?
Yeah, she was.
She's a businesswoman. She was like you. Was she an environmentalist too?
Well, let me start by saying, I was in business before I became governor. I was also an environmentalist, and I don't think those two things should be in conflict with one.
The only thing worse than a Pritzker are the scumbags that support him. We'll be back in 21 to expose the cockroaches.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's